being recorded like that. And you may have to say okay on your computers or not. But with that, I'd like to introduce Lisa Hart and let her take it away.
Thank you, Laura. That was lovely. And Elizabeth, did you want to say anything?
No, it's really nice to see everybody's 26 participants. And it's nice to see you too, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here.
Well,
I guess I should say that Elizabeth is UNNC's representative to the Sustainability Alliance, and then Lisa. And I'm going mute, as should everybody else.
Thank you. And actually, I would love for this to be conversational. So if folks want to chime in and chat, I think that would be great. My name is Elizabeth. I mean, my name is not Elizabeth. My name is Lisa, but I want to thank Elizabeth for making this happen. I'm actually not the chair of the Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance, but I do a lot of work to keep it going. And I need to share, I realized I need to share my, can I share my screen? Can you enable that, please? Sorry, we should have done that earlier. So I'll just keep talking until we have that set up. We are an alliance of 62 neighborhood councils of the 99. Not all of those are active, but a lot of those are active. And we're really excited that we have such a broad group that's really representative of the vast majority of the city working with us on sustainability issues.
Our mission, Lisa, you're a co-host now.
Cool, thank you. Our mission is to advance sustainability and resilience across LA through sharing of best practices, through community action, and through advocacy. Okay, I think you folks can see this now, and I'll try not to keep the slides up too much because I do like to be able to see you folks, but please do. If you have a question, please just chime in since we don't have the chat, but I guess you can raise your hand and Elizabeth can watch that maybe. So this was our last in-person meeting. It feels like 100 years ago, but it was early 2020. This, as I said, is our mission. There are a few things that I think Laura wanted to make sure that you knew about and that we wanted to make sure you knew about regarding the NCSA. One of the things that's pretty important for us is we have on our website, which is ncsa.la, we have a little button that says submit a CIS. And that's to let you know what kind of advocacy projects we're working on. Now, not all advocacy efforts involve CISs, you probably know, or I should say community impact statements, in case there are folks who aren't familiar with them. But a lot of them do. That's a very common mechanism for neighborhood councils to share what they think to city council. And we try to keep a pretty up-to-date list of things we're working on and things we'd love for you to chime in on. This is one of the most important and impactful ways to work with the NCSA is to submit these CISs, because really it's when we speak with a united voice that our city leadership listens. So this is one way we'd really, really love to engage with you. Also, we have a lot of committees. You know, if you look at this list of committees and you're like, oh, there's nothing there that interests me, but I'd really love to do something, then let us know. Maybe you can start a committee. That's how all of these committees got started. Is somebody said, hey, I'd like to start it. And we said, okay. So we have an advocacy committee that is sort of the catch-all committee for everything else, everything that's left over that isn't captured in another committee. We have our energy committee. You guys probably know Dan Cagle. He's the chair of our energy committee, and we're working on renewable energy. We're working on building decarbonization, stuff like that. EV adoption is what we're going to talk about tonight. Sustainability guidelines for developers. I thought this is something that might be of interest to you. I'll talk a little bit about more about that in a moment. Transportation committee, that's the one that starts at 7, and that's why I have to leave. Doing a lot on public transit, and our trees committee. And I think you folks do a lot of work on trees as well. We have a very active trees committee. And we also have a Green Business Ambassador program that's just launched in case you want to support the city's efforts to get businesses certified as green. So we have, I mean, we have more than this going on, but this is a great, great way to plug in. And, you know, we'd love, you know, we have our representatives from our neighborhood councils, but that does not preclude other people from being involved. Anybody who wants to get involved in any of these things, just reach out and let us know, and we will happily work with you. The more, the merrier. One of the things we've done recently is launch this Green New Deal toolkit. This is an idea that we kind of borrowed and adapted from the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council. There's this amazing Green New Deal that the city has, but it's been hard for communities or individuals to know how to plug into it and how to support those efforts, which are really, really important because we do have the climate crisis and we have to move more quickly than we are to reduce our emissions. And this is a way to do that. So you can check out this toolkit, which you can access from our website under resources, and check out ways to support LA's Green New Deal. There are things we can do in our homes and in our neighborhoods and as neighborhood councils. So one of the things we're actually asking all of our member neighborhood councils to do is to figure out how they are helping to implement LA's Green New Deal. It doesn't have to be something in this toolkit, but it can be something in this toolkit. This is just a list of suggestions and ideas. But each neighborhood council can kind of do its own thing to implement LA's Green New Deal. And we really encourage everybody to figure out what they're doing and to let us know. This is the sustainability guidelines for developers. This is something I also thought you'd be interested in. You know, we have lots of challenges and questions around housing and development in LA, and lots of tensions, right? This is where there's a lot of disagreement. But one of the things that I've seen is that in most planning and land use committees, there isn't really a lot of conversation about the sustainability dimension of these issues. So that's what a group of us have focused on. And you can go to our website and see our draft guidelines. They've been in draft form for forever. I'm not sure they'll ever get undraft, but they're a really great resource. And we welcome anybody's contributions. If you want to, you know, chime in and make comments and make edits, if you don't have, I think you might need to get access from me, but let me know and you can go in and make suggestions. This is very much a communal effort with people chiming in and weighing in. And we'd also love to hear what you think. And we'd love to hear if you think these are useful or valuable or not, or what you like about them or what you don't like about them. But they're a great resource, a great tool. They're designed to be a way to engage developers on sustainability issues in a way that we have not seen most planning and land use committees. Somebody should mute him or herself if that's possible. Any questions or comments on any of the stuff I've said so far? I hate just talking at people. Michael, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. What does PLUM stand for? PLUM.
Oh, sorry. That's the common, that's commonly what, that stands for Planning and Land Use Management, which is the commonly used term for land use committees. I think that's what the city's committee is called. So that's what a lot of neighborhood council committees are called.
Right, Michael, it's our Planning and Zoning Committee.
Oh, that's us.
Right. So sorry, PLUM is sort of this generic term, but lots of neighborhood councils have a different word.
Like, yeah, I've never heard that before, that's all. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for catching me on my jargon. That's good. Anybody else? Okay, I can keep going. So I wanted to talk tonight about EVs, and if Tori is with us, I made a mistake. I did not catch something. It's not about driving free, it's about driving clean, but getting money to do that. So I don't know if we have, well, yeah, let's spend a couple of minutes talking about this. We're working with the Department of Water and Power on electric vehicles, on helping people get them, because they're actually much easier to get than people think. And they're pretty important as we try to figure out this climate crisis. So I'd love to ask you guys what your thoughts are about why to get an electric vehicle, reasons for getting an electric vehicle. And then we'll see if it's on this chart, if that makes sense.
Well, the gas prices for one right now.
Great point.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna have to just start poking at these because I don't have the document that tells me what's under each of these. So it's not that, but keep going and I'll just start.
Dory, go ahead.
Pollution.
I have a pretty old car. It's 16 years, but it still runs. So does it make sense to get an electric car if the car you have is currently still functioning? Isn't that not good for the environment to get something new when something old still works?
That's a great question. Oops, sorry, I always do that. That's a great question. There is a podcast. I'm forgetting, gosh, and the name of it is blanking. You know what? I can send you guys the link maybe to the podcast is maybe what I should do. Because there's a podcast that addresses exactly that question. And the answer is, and they actually go through this question very clearly. The answer is it still makes sense, even if it's an older car. So I want to make sure, I guess we don't have the chat, but I really want to make sure.
Yeah, if you will email me, because our chat's out, just email me when you have a moment, that
Okay.
link, and then I will write it. I'll share screen it when you're
Yeah.
done.
Because it's a great, I don't know if you're into podcasts, but it's a great, simple podcast that just walks through a lot of the questions people have about, is this really the right way to go? And the answer is yes. Okay, so I found this is, somebody said the gas prices. It is cheaper to, there might be exceptions, but usually it's quite a bit cheaper to run your car off of electricity than on gas. And Hugh, you wanted to chime in.
So obviously there is less carbon emissions from an electric vehicle, but if you work with or look at the lifetime of the car from production to disposal, you're still not doing a tremendous favor for the environment. Shouldn't our goal really be to eliminate private use vehicles and move to mass transit?
Yes, I'm going to cheat for a second and go back to that slide that I showed by accident a moment ago. Yes, there are reasons not to. And one of them is best case, sure, we should be walking, we should be taking public transit, now that we're out and about a little bit more, for sure. And electric vehicles still do take a toll on the environment. They are not perfect. Also, another problem is here in LA, our electricity portfolio from DWP is only about 40% clean renewable energy. The rest is, we're still running on coal, not a lot, but a little bit. So we're still running on a lot of dirty energy. So when we, like I have a cute little sticker on my electric vehicle that says 0 emissions. Well, that's not quite true, but it is still, even with all of that, even with all of those negatives, it is still better for the environment to have an electric vehicle than not. Than a conventional vehicle. And as much as, we certainly should be trying to drive less, and I'm a huge proponent of car sharing, but realistically, because we have to move so quickly to change our emissions, I just don't see LA in particular getting there quickly enough without the help of electric vehicles, because we have a lot of work to do on our public transit infrastructure.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Paula's next.
Sorry?
Paula's next.
Paula, go for it.
Hello there. Am I off mute?
You're
Yes.
good.
I can hear you.
My question is, with just the electric waves, with the waves of electricity, with cell towers, with all this stuff going on, they're talking about all of this that is going through our bodies. What does this do to the human body if we all go electric cars, which sounds like a wonderful idea, but is it really good for our personal health?
So the 5G question has come up. It was raised by a couple neighborhood councils. We've done a little bit of research into that. My understanding is that we have no reason to think that it's a problem. Like lots of things, it doesn't mean it's a problem. It doesn't mean it isn't a problem, right? Because sometimes we find out things out later. But my understanding, which is probably not, I mean, it's a little bit out of date, but is that we don't have any reason to think there's a problem. And I do know that there's this phenomenon, I don't know how well documented it is, but I know there's a phenomenon of some people having a real sensitivity to electricity. I think it's very rare. Like I have a close friend who didn't get an electric vehicle because she is concerned about being sensitive to it. But I think that's a very unusual circumstance, and I think this is a good answer for a good solution for most people.
Thank you.
Hugo?
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for presenting. I have a question about the effect that electric vehicles as an industry can have internationally. One of my concerns is that if we're mining for more lithium, we're going to end up affecting countries that are developing. And I have a page open here, UNCTAD.org, that mentions that more than half of the world's lithium resources lie beneath the salt flats in the Andean regions of Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. And I guess I just want to be able to support these kinds of things with peace of mind that we're not contributing to any type of exploitation in these regions.
Yeah, okay, so let me back up and say I did remember the name of the podcast. It's called How to Save a Planet, but I'll still go ahead and find the link and send that to Laura. But it's by Gimlet Media, which I think got bought out by Spotify, which I know did get bought out by Spotify. But anyway, yes, yes, there are definitely concerns about mining and batteries, but you know, I guess, you know, the way I think about it is the second I was born, actually, the second I was conceived, I became a resource burden, a burden on this planet. I am a burden on this planet. And there's not a lot I can do about that if I want to stay around. So it's about limiting the damage I do while I'm here. And I know a lot of people are working on the lithium issue. There's a question about cobalt, real concerns about mining. But what I'm concerned about is those are things that people are looking at, but I don't want those to become, I think those are things we should be looking at and be vigilant about. I don't think they should be excuses not to do this, because we really don't have time to be stalling and hedging and hemming and hawing and not moving in this direction, because we really are in a very, very tight timeline. So I think we should be aggressive about those things and work to address them. And there are solutions that people are finding. The battery technology, you might know, is changing very, very rapidly. But in the interim, I think we need to be moving toward this. Em or Chris?
Yeah.
As a geologist, I think it's important for everybody to realize that the car they currently drive and the house and the cell phone that they use and almost everything in their life all comes with a component. So you can look at different mining situations, but currently everyone is very dependent on materials that are being mined. And so lithium is predominantly coming out of two sources today, granite pegmatites in Australia and brines largely in Chile. So, you know, it just keep in perspective that absolutely everything in your contemporary life, except for, well, even the food you eat, has a component of a mined resource in it. So, you know, there's no free lunch out there. So just want to make sure everyone understands that.
Yeah, thank you. I think the point I was trying to make is there's no free lunch, but yes, so we need to minimize the damage we do, but we're going to do damage. So we probably need to move on. So I'm just going to quickly just hit these. And folks, so you know, we're actually having our last workshop on this stuff will be June 23rd. So we'll get that posted on our website probably tomorrow. So if you want to spend a little more time diving into this, you can. We also have a lot of information on our website. So there are a lot of great reasons to get an electric vehicle. I've had one for, I guess, 4 years now, and I just love it. It might not be perfect for everybody. There are challenges, but there are a lot more models than there used to be. That's one of the things we want to make sure you know. There are a couple great saving calculators that will help you figure out the incentives and rebates that will work for you, because the theme of this talk tonight is that there are huge incentives to help you get electric vehicles, more than people realize. There are big federal tax credits, and there are lots of state of California programs to help people. The big downer is that most of these programs right now that are on this slide are on hold. I think largely because of the pandemic, because of unanticipated demands, because of all the craziness of this past year, because of the legislature not moving as quickly as they should. So a lot of these programs on this slide are not working right now, but they will be within the next several months. So the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project is a great one. The Clean Vehicle Assistance Program is the strongest program. It's actually a grant program. You can get up to $5,000 toward a new car, and you can also get financing, and you can also get help for a charger. This is the one that is stalled the longest. It probably won't be up and running again until early 2022, which is really, really, really unfortunate, because it's such a great program. But if you're thinking about, if you can wait, if you can hold on for a few months, check out to see what you're eligible for, because this is a great program. We have more information on all these programs on our website, and we will go through all of these in more detail on the 23rd when we have a little more time. Also, DWP has a great rebate program for used vehicles. If you get a used electric vehicle, they'll give you $1,500 with a couple exceptions, but that's pretty much the deal. So that's great. Want to make sure you know about that. There are different types of charging that you probably know. And for me, I just want people to know, I plug my car in. I have a garage, and I'm a renter. I plug it in the regular 110, 120 volt outlet in my garage, and that's enough for me and my car, my lifestyle. It charges overnight. There are a lot more charging stations all over the city than people realize. So we want to make sure people know that. There are lots of apps that will help you find out where they are. And if you're living in an apartment, there's also a lot of help. The law says that if your apartment building has 5 or more parking spaces, your landlord has to accommodate your request to get a charger. Your landlord doesn't have to pay for it, but your landlord has to let you do it. There's a commercial, for apartments, there's also DWP has a great program that's also oversubscribed, so you can't do it right now, but within a couple months, they think, this will be opening up again so that your landlords can get help getting chargers, lots of help getting chargers in their apartments. So basically they can get free chargers. So lots of obstacles, but lots of solutions, and California is so cutting edge on this. And I'm happy to talk to anybody more offline about this and give you more information. And once again, we have a lot of great information on our website and the workshop on the 23rd. And I have to go. And I guess I should stop sharing the screen if I can figure that out. But maybe I'll just go.
Still sharing, Lisa. I think if you leave, you won't be sharing.
Yes, maybe I'll just leave and that will work.
Probably
I think
so.
Thank you, folks. This is so, this was great. Thank you for your time. And sorry I have to leave abruptly, but I have to host another meeting.
Okay, bye, Lisa. And
Thank
I
you.
think what I'll do is start sharing my screen with your website. See if I can do that.
Okay.
And everybody can tell me if that worked because I can't see. Everybody see that? Lisa's gone, but can,
Yep, there we go.
okay.
Oh,
So
now we do, yes.
yeah, so basically you can see, I'm sorry for all who have arrived since 30 minutes ago when I said, oh my God, we don't have chat. For whatever reason, tonight we do not have the chat function. But if you see on the top of the screen, right, oops, it's gonna be hard to do this, never mind. Please move this window away. That's, it made it even worse. Okay, never mind, I'm having troubles just doing this.
Laura, I see the
Oh,
chat.
there you go. So you see, I just clicked on www.NCSA or Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance.LA. And that is their website. And as you can see, it's lively. It's moving even as we speak, but I'm going to stop the share. And
And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go too. I have a climate call. We have a conference on the 12th of June. And I'm helping to organize it. So it's nice to see everybody.
thank you, Elizabeth. We'll
Take
see
care.
you at the UNNC Environmental Committee
Yes.
a week from today.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, bye. Okay, so I'm going to start over. I'm Laura Myers, and I am the president and also the Zoom host for UNNC tonight's board meeting, and I'm officially calling the board meeting to order. We do have quorum, and thank you, board members, for that. Greg, do you think we need to do a roll call? I've been actually marking it down.
No.
Okay. And so I'm sorry. So couple of things, couple of business items. Number one, this meeting is being recorded. We've been being recorded since the beginning of the presentation at 6:30. And the next thing is that we need to approve tonight's agenda. And I'm sorry about I'm a little flummoxed over the fact that we don't have the chat function. We don't use our chat function usually to chat with each other, but we do use it to provide useful information. So we just will have to do that the old-fashioned way tonight. Okay, can everybody see the shared screen with the first of several pages of the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so our first order of business for board members is to approve the agenda. So I'm going to scroll through it relatively quickly. We do have our usual meeting protocols, government officials, a couple of specific presentations on that level, board member training report. For planning and zoning, we'll just have any updates, but there's no cases tonight. I'm not hearing that round of applause. Okay, yay. And then the next page, we do have our annual administrative packet and budget. We will go through it. Whether we can do a final approval of it, I'm not positive. We do have a secretary's report with meeting minutes, prior meeting minutes, and a number of executive committee items, which we're just scrolling through now. And committee updates, treasurer's report. Did you see the other thing that's not on this one, guys?
What?
No CIS
Yes.
tonight. Do I hear another round of
Yes.
applause?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, thank you. So back to the top, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, I heard three people move to approve the
Okay, I
agenda.
second Lizzie.
Who was the firster?
I think I might have been, but it doesn't, if John Arnold's fine as well.
Oh, that
right,
was a male
I'll
voice.
just say,
That's John.
since we're being recorded, John Arnold moved, Lizzie seconded, Many other people moved and seconded. And I'm going to stop the share. And for this to vote, yes, approve the agenda for members of the board only. You may raise your real hand, you may raise your little blue hand in the participants, or you may do a reactions, raise the hand. And I am putting up my thumb and raising my hand. Okay. Still watching those hands go up. Only board members though.
This is for approval.
Approval of the agenda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What is this for? It got cut
Approving
out.
the agenda, that's all.
Okay.
8, 9, 10. Motion passes because that's more than the majority. Okay, hands down. So the next item is the meeting protocols reminder. This very brief. We are meeting in a Zoom meeting format. That does mean, as you can see, you are able to unmute. Please don't unmute unless you've raised your hand and you've been called on to speak, but you have your own controls over the unmute mute function. We want to be civil, respectful to each other. Again, raise your hands to be called on. We do try to allow everybody to participate fully, but we do expect everyone to respect everyone else. And next item is public comments and announcements on items not on tonight's agenda. So if you are a government official or city agency or any other government entity, you can speak in item 4 or 5, so you don't need to speak in public comments. So do we have any public comments? So if your hand is still up because you were voting, can you take your hand down, please? So I can see who, if anyone has public comments. Okay. And actually, Hugo, you told me you had invited some people, but was one person to be organizing the speakers in public comment? And if yes, who would that be for me to call on first? Where'd Hugo go?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. Is there a particular person I should be calling on first?
I don't know if you want to do them in order before the other comments, but the first person I know is Crystal.
Okay, well, why don't I start with Crystal, because I still can't tell of the hands raised if some of them are still up or some of them are new. So Crystal, why don't you start, and then if those hands stay up after you're done, I know they're new.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this council meeting. I really appreciate it. It is with a lot of pain that we come to ask for your support to find justice for my beloved baby cousin, Nabor Galvez. Nabor Galvez, only 24, was brutally gunned down in his own childhood home in the Los Angeles Jefferson Park area on December 13, 2020, around 10:30 p.m. The murderers remain at large, whereas our family and friends remain completely devastated from the loss. Nabor was a proud Angelino that dedicated his life to his studies, his family, and friends. He was a remarkable graduate from California State University, Northridge, where he aspired to be a lawyer to advocate for his community. It aches our hearts to know that the killers are not arrested for their atrocious crime. Footage has been released of the 3 suspects, but none have been detained. Watching the video gives my family and I goosebumps to know that those psychopaths targeted my beautiful baby cousin Nabor. We are so angry, we are so hurt, we are so heartbroken. There is not a day where we do not cry for Nabor. Therefore, we are asking for your support to seek justice for Nabor Galvez by applying more pressure to LAPD to detain the killers as soon as possible and to enforce public safety in our community of Jefferson Park. Please help us find justice for Nabor Galvez. Thank you again for your time and the opportunity to share his story. And I also have my little sister with me who wants to share a few words.
Hello. My older cousin Nabor was a definition of love and kindness. It is not fair that the murderers had the chance to spend Christmas with their family while our family wept. It is not fair that they had the opportunity to celebrate a new year while our family had to organize a funeral for him. It is not fair that we have been distributing flyers to find his murderers all over Los Angeles. It is not fair that my family and I have to endure this pain for the remainder of our lives. It is not fair at all. We do not understand how they can sleep at night knowing that they took his precious life away from us. Nobor had so many dreams and aspirations. He loved his family, his friends, and his community. It is not fair that the killers get to go home while my cousin Nobor will never ever come home to us. We want the killers to be arrested and prosecuted for their crimes. They permanently broke our family when they stole his life. Please help us find justice for Nobor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna now just call in the order that I'm seeing the hands. Janie?
Wow, that's quite heartbreaking. Sorry. I wanted to just let everyone know that I'm actually going to be moving with my family, and we'll have to step down from the neighborhood council. And I just wanted to say that it's been really quite a pleasure working with you all. I've learned so much. It's an amazing team that's doing great stuff, and I'm really gonna miss you all. And thank you for the time we had together. So.
Yeah, thank you, Janie. I will remind you, you'll still own property here, so you can log in from Zoom anywhere to participate. Okay, Teresa. You'll need to unmute.
Thank you all for allowing me to speak. I come to you guys as an entrepreneur of South LA, a native, and I have developed a cool, one-of-a-kind resource center that we are asking for partnership with all neighborhood councils. We're going around letting the neighborhood councils know of our existence. And with our resource center, we have paid opportunities for youth, and these paid opportunities are centered around community service work, which is very different, a different field from what we know community service to be. With this work that we believe that we can bring great improvements to your community through the beautification appearance and through the folk. We also train these youth in positive psychology and get them ready and excited to be of service to you, the council, and to their community. So again, we ask for your support and to know of our existence, and that we would like to be able to speak on your behalf. We mobilize our resources into your community through our programs. And thank you for allowing me to speak. Oh, and one more thing, I would like to get on the agenda to probably go into depth and maybe a visual of some of our projects and things that we plan to do for your community. Thank you.
Okay, so Teresa, if you'll email me going forward, or just Laura.Myers, MEYERS @UNNC.org, and we'll get you on a future agenda. So
Thank you all.
LAURA.MYERS. Oh, like it says on the screen, @UNNC.org. Dennis.
Yes.
Hi, I want to bring to everyone's attention, if they're not already aware, a provision in Biden's Infrastructure Act that has $20 billion proposed to cure past racial inequities for situations such as Interstate 10 that was just cut right through our community. That's part of the American Jobs Plan. Mason put that out on the next door the other day. I really urge everyone that lives in this community and this board to do all it can to get involved, to advocate that, to go to Jimmy Gomez, Holly, Ridley, Scott Thomas, everyone that we can get behind it, particularly on the federal level, to take advantage of this opportunity. This is amazing. Some of the cities have started to act in a way that's going to look negative to a lot of people. Syracuse and Atlanta are talking about tearing out existing urban portions of their interstate freeways. That's not going to sell very good if you start with that approach. But the purpose is to reconnect this community. There's probably a lot of ways we can do that, and we can be very clever. But there's possibly money going to be out there for the asking, and I say we've got an obligation to go after it. Thanks for considering this.
Thank you, Dennis. Is there any other public comment on items not on this agenda? Okay, moving on. Danielle, do you have a Council District 10 report about anything?
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Danielle and I'm a field deputy for Council Member Mark Lee Thomas. If you haven't been introduced to me, and I'm also temporarily covering the Koreatown area as well. As far as updates, our vaccination events that have been held at the old former district office on 1819 Southwestern have been so successful that we're continuing for this month. So I do send Laura the links and the updates, and she puts those out on the newsletter. So another issue that I'm currently dealing with and getting a lot of calls about are the trash cans on Washington. So that's something that we're looking into and we're working with, and with the nonprofit. And it all boils down to the illegal dumping that's been happening by vendors, people from apartments, businesses. So we're working on that to see how we can improve that or up the schedule as far as maintenance, because they do have to maintain Washington Boulevard and Pico Boulevard for a long stretch. So that's one of the issues that I'm currently trying to deal with. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Danielle? You can please raise your hand. Don't just shout them out. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. Well, that's good. I do want to thank you for sending me all of the notices about the vaccines. I've been trying to get them out, and I would say, just on the heels of your announcement about that, I hope everyone here is already vaccinated or planning to get vaccinated between now and the 15th, so that you're eligible to win, $50,000, but certainly $50 little gift certificates for groceries. But first come, first serve. First 2 million Californians who are getting vaccinated now will get $50 gift certificates to grocery stores. So if you're not vaccinated, but if you would tell your neighbors about this, I mean, this is a big push between now and the 15th of June. California is spending a lot of money giving prizes. So you're eligible to win. And it's really easy if you just go to Council District 10 field office to get your vaccination, or frankly, CVS or USC or so many others. Chris, you have a question?
I've had my hand up, but maybe you're not seeing it on your screen.
Now I see it, but I did see it after I started speaking.
Okay. Not a problem. But it was regarding Danielle and the Washington Boulevard. Wanted to ask if maybe in the future she could come to UNNC to help us, maybe a quick presentation about bids and the possibility of developing a Washington Boulevard bid to maybe address some of the
right. Chris, I think actually Moses is coming to your Economic Development Committee next week, and I think might be talking about that. So maybe I can share that information with Danielle. Instead of asking the council office to present, we can ask the council office to attend. And I'm hearing somebody else speak.
Improvements along Washington Boulevard, rather that it's been done in other parts of the city. It'd be nice to know more about the process.
Okay. Okay.
There's audio problems.
Yeah, I heard that. Does anybody else have any questions for Danielle? Then we are moving on. We have other the next item, number 5, is other government officials and city agencies reports, including Keenan Davis, Deputy Director of WLCAC Senior Services at the George and Helen Thomas Center. So I see also that there's more than one person. Keenan, I see you're here, and I thought I had seen, who had I seen? You're the Phyllis, there she is. I'm sorry, I'm having it. So which one of you, if either one of you are presenting the things, I need to make you a co-host, or do you want me to do the PowerPoint?
I mean, if it's easier for you.
Whichever's easier for you, actually.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Okay.
I can attempt to do that now.
Okay, well, I need to make you a co-host. While you're introducing
Okay.
yourself, I will do that.
Okay.
So go ahead, say hello.
Okay, I will definitely start off as I get this PowerPoint squared away. First of all, thank you for inviting us tonight. We really appreciate, you know, what I would like to call a beginning to our future, you know, working together in District 10. Again, everyone, my name is Keenan Davis. I'm the Deputy Director of Senior Services at Watts Labor Community Action Committee. And I also have with us our Senior Director of Older Adult Programs at WLCAC, Dr. Phyllis Willis. And we also have Dr. Olivia Drake, who is a Program Manager at our Estelle Van Meter location, which is a little bit further east of the 110. But she's actually a resident of Jefferson Park. So she's really interested in attending more meetings, getting a little bit involved, more involved with the council, and you know, we would definitely appreciate a welcome for her. So I'm going to.
It's like, here's the
try and get
welcome.
this. Say that again.
Here's the welcome.
Oh,
Yeah, we're on Zoom. It's hard.
thank you. I know, it's okay. Well, you know, we got hit with this Zoom thing, and it looks like we're all getting it together, and now the pandemic is starting to go away, which is good. Let me see here. So
can you explain where the new program is? Or I know it's going to be on the slide, but or should I reintroduce you with that?
Yeah, so I'm sure you all are familiar with the Glenn and Helen Thomas Center at 2475 West Washington Boulevard. It's a historic building. It was originally dedicated to seniors, but since then it's become, well, it wasn't being occupied for a while as far as any type of program. However, it's become a meal site for us. We started here back in 2019 is when we got the contractor for here. And as of right now, this would be later on in the presentation, we are open for grab and go meals from 11 o'clock to 12 p.m. These are meals for seniors. They're made hot daily. And that's what we have right now. Let me see if I can get this thing going here. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, I think you need to go to slideshow and then from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for that. I'm not used to.
There. No, that wouldn't be it.
Right.
If you go to the top right-hand corner, it says present.
Oh,
there you
perfect.
go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who said that? But thank you.
Thank you so much. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
You're muted.
Yeah, somehow everybody, it said the host muted everyone, only the host did no such thing. So Keenan, I think you have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, let me see here.
We are having Zoom issues tonight because honestly, the host did not, that would be me, did not actually mute everybody. So there you go.
Okay. All right, no worries. Well, let me see. I have my notes here. So basically, let's see here. So as you can see, this is our team. Dr. Phyllis Willis, again, is our senior director. I'm the deputy director. We have Charlene Adams. She is the program coordinator at West Adams MPC, which is at 2528 West Boulevard. And that's where, we have all of our other senior services. It's more of an activity center there. We also have Bridget Garcia. She's the case manager, and she's going to be coming over here to assist Tuesdays and Thursdays. She'll be here from 10 to 12. And she will assist in providing tons and tons of services such as Lee Heap enrollment, which is helping seniors with their utility bills. She's going to be helping out with benefits enrollment, which we'll get into a little bit later on. And then we have Antoinette Warmack. She's our nutrition coordinator, and she's responsible for our meal delivery service. And here we have Andrea Pope. She's our new site manager. She's our new site manager here at the Thomas Center. And, she's really great. She's been with us for about 2 weeks now, and she's already gotten to know a lot of the seniors in the community. The funny thing is she's realizing like how tight and how close everyone is over here. And they've all gotten to know her, and she's gotten to know them, and she's, doing a wonderful job there. Okay. So what we have here is there were some concerns about, hey, why did we cut the tree? But this is a before and after picture. It just kind of highlights, one of the reasons why we cut the tree, just to prevent some of the loitering. We also took care of some of the graffiti that was in front of the building. And we also have weekly groundskeepers who come out and tailor the facility, the grass that grows from the concrete, and just keeps everything nice and clean. We've done a ton of work on the building so far. But we'll get into a little bit more later about, what we plan for in the future with the building. Okay, but, the tree was really nice, but as you can see, we just want to make sure that we, take care of the loitering and some of the illicit activity that, seniors were complaining about. I will say that it has done away with that. We haven't really had, much issue with that as of late. And the room that I am in now, as you can see, prior to, what we did, you can kind of see the roof rotting away from the leakage and from the roof. And, it was just, it just was not kept. So what you see now is we've turned it into a gym, and it's just going to be one of the activities seniors will be able to enjoy once we reopen. Also, we will convert this and continue to have lunch upstairs. The seniors requested, so we want to make sure that we're open, for them and what they would like to do. Okay. So as you can see, again, this is just a zoomed in photo. It was much worse than this. The roof was actually cracking. It was really bad, but one of the priorities that we have here, we want to get the roof done. I mean, now we're okay because of the summer months, but that's one of our first priorities that we want to work with. So our senior director, she is going to reapply for the CDBG, the neighborhood restoration grant. And it's about $1.8 million. That's what it's going to cost to renovate the building. We would like to do a complete renovation, and we're really going to need your support. As the neighborhood council, we're going to need your support and your advocacy. Once we reapply for this thing, we have to make sure that they understand that, hey, there is a really serious need here for this building, or else it's going to end up just like this again, and that would be unfortunate. It was one of the reasons why seniors no longer eat upstairs. So, we've gotten that all squared away. Some of the other repairs that, we're looking to do, and also additions, we're going to be repairing the elevator. That's one of our immediate right right now goals. So we're going to be working on that in the next coming weeks, get that elevator fixed. We've also installed an alarm system. We have our surveillance system that we've installed in the front, just to monitor, activity there. And also we'll be posting signs just to let the community know that, this area is being monitored. Not to mention, we posted signs, to prevent the blocking of the driveway so that we all have smooth parking. That was actually an issue. Just a couple of, repairs that we plan on doing, some of the things that we've done, which is, it's really extensive when you think about it. We did a full cleanup on the building just to get it ready, because we are going to open soon as we get some clarification from the Los Angeles Department of Aging. Right now, there is no reopening plan because we have not heard from them, but we want to make sure that when it is time, we have the building ready to go for seniors to come back. And then that's when we'll open full force from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for not only just meals, but other activities such as bingo and more attention to our supportive services to seniors in the area. Okay. So moving forward, when we do get word from the Department of Aging, we do intend to have a rededication grand opening, and we will certainly invite the neighborhood council out, along with Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas, and other district members. It's going to be a really exciting time for us. I think the community is going to really benefit from, knowing that we're out there. And we just want to rededicate this building to what it was intended to be, and that is for seniors. And that's a very exciting time for us. So as you can see, WLCAC, we have been around for over 50 years providing human services. We started in the West Adams area back in 2019. July of 2019 was our first day providing services in this area. And I would say then we ended up getting, by January, we were about 50% staffed. So that was prior to the pandemic. Once the pandemic happened, as you can see here by the numbers, from the first 6 months, we were at 17,000 meals. And then including the pandemic, the second 6 months leading into the year, we were already at 27,000. That's a 10,000 meal increase. And we're still, working to grow the program. So I'm not going to say it was easy. It was something that we had to think of innovative ways to accomplish, the rapid increase in service and the rapid increase in need. So that all happened really fast. So as of now, we're still looking to fill positions. So, the benefit is I have a lot of you here to make this announcement that we are looking to fill some of those positions. So if you know someone, we encourage them to apply, because, they're doing service work there. But as you can see here, the coronavirus has had a severe impact on seniors in the community. And, I'd like to pat my team on the back. We really did a really good job of getting the services provision. So once we reopen, these are a lot of the services that we provide currently. However, seniors will be able to come into the building and have even greater access. But we've done, many different things throughout the course of the pandemic to provision services to seniors while they're, isolated and they're in their homes. And, it's really been tough, but we've been able to, manage and work with a lot of members of the community. So right now we're just doing our grab and go meals, as I spoke about earlier. And then this explains our case management services from Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 12. And, like I said, she's going to be helping out seniors, a lot with with the services lead heat program, working with them to get their SSI, working with unhoused individuals to get their identifications, social security cards, things like that. I think that's a really big need within the community from what I've seen so far. We also provide our virtual exercise classes through our evidence-based program. So a lot of seniors, that community there is growing steadily. It was a tall task because of the lack of access, the lack of equity. A lot of seniors, simply didn't have internet, let alone the technological literacy to do something like this. But we've been able to, through our outreach, through our drivers, we've been able to reach as many people as we can, and it's just a steadily growing community. And I encourage you all to inquire if you're looking to get some exercise within your home or within the safety of your home. This is open and available to you all as well. So we do offer community resources. We refer you to other services that we do not provision. So we try not to turn any senior away if we don't provide the services that they need. We will refer them to outside sources who do provision said services, and we do wellness calls, simply calling our seniors to check on them, make sure that they're doing okay, asking them if they need anything, because outreach is extremely important during this time when a lot of seniors don't have access to being able to go out into the community and socialize, things like that. And again, we have our benefits enrollment, which is getting seniors enrolled in Medi-Cal, Medicare, CalFresh, their SSI, their SNAPs. All of those services are also provided through our case management department, and she'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays. So at that time, if seniors within the community who live near the center, they can come by and speak with her about their benefits enrollment, and then they can also call the phone number that we provide to get services there too. Okay, so this is a flyer outlining our Zoom classes for our exercise. We also have a healthier living class, which teaches seniors about dieting and sleep cycles, importance of getting good sleep, diabetes management, things like that. This is actually the Zoom class. Our exercise class is one of our most popular. Seniors have a really good time in these classes, and not to mention there's that community, that sense of community, being able to socialize, see people that you haven't seen in a long time, when otherwise you'd be at the center and you'd be socializing with them there. So that's just another part of the exercise program. It's really fun. You all should come out and just try it out for yourselves. As you can see down there, you can.
Keenan, this time I think I did that to you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So yeah, Eleanor Brown, she's the program manager of our evidence-based programs, and you can give her a call, Pamela Evans or Esther Velasco. Either one of those can help you out as far as enrollment. And I think you all should give it a go, if you're older than 60. I think it would be a lot of fun. If you have any questions, here's my contact info, kdavis@wlcac.org, and also Dr. Phyllis Willis, Senior Director. It's her email as well. And this is just a picture of one of our innovations. So we have our Prop 8 transportation, and they normally transport seniors. And that's one of the things during the pandemic, you have all this increase. What do? Our Prop 8 drivers were happy to convert over to meal delivery. It's not necessarily something that's in the job description, but they all answered the call, and we're greatly appreciative of them doing that. And it was a really huge help, a really huge boost for us being able to provide the additional meals that were asked of us to do. I'm going to segue to Dr. Phyllis Willis. If you'd like to say anything.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted a couple of minutes and thank you. I was able to get away from another meeting because I did want to get a chance to meet you Zoom face to face. I wanted to just kind of go over some of the what's happening in Department of Aging, what's happening nationally, and the Older Americans Act through the Biden administration really allocated about $750,000 for meals, and also another $400 million for home and community-based services for older adults. So I know some of that will be coming around to West Adams and also some of our other centers. So as it does, we'll have an opportunity to be a little bit more innovative. I know today I received information, some of the money did come through, which we'll be able to purchase if someone needs something from the store, right? Or they need a household item, we're able to buy some of those things for them. And then we got extra dollars to increase our meals. So as this moves forward and they're trying to be as innovative as possible to get seniors what they need and get them ready to go back into multi-purpose senior centers. That's been a national talk, and it's really difficult because there's those that don't want to go back to the senior center. There's those that want to go back, but then they are not sure if everybody's vaccinated. And then you have seniors who don't want to get the vaccine. So it's really a challenge for us to figure out, keeping everyone safe, working with Department of Public Health. They have some protocol. Then also looking at the liability, if you turn someone away. So right now, that's what I'm in the middle of. I do know that June 15th or towards the end of June, the sector for seniors will be opening up, but still the Department of Aging has to give the go ahead. And we're in the community right now. I really love the George and Helen Thomas Center. That's really near and dear to my heart, even before we did any cleanup. We met so many of the homeless seniors there, and our goal was to be able to provide either through collaboration with others, services to help them to expedite getting housing. And so we're seeing some progress there. And with the new monies coming down, we hope to be able to recruit older adults through faith-based communities to provide shared housing for some of the older adults. Many times we have 88 employees. So when someone comes, they have nowhere to go. They have to have an assessment, even if wherever they go. People's Concern, we also have a homeless services program on the South Side. If they don't have all of their ID, they can't even start the assessment process. They can start it in the senior center. So normally we're advocating for them, driving them to get what they need, and then reaching out to the churches to find them a place to sleep. And so we've been successful in doing that. And I've been advocating that I would love to see multi-purpose centers in the Thomas Center become a one-stop shop, because the majority of folks when I came there were homeless. The majority of folks that were hanging out front were homeless. And they don't only need to be housed, they need the supportive services such as mental health to go along with that. So we're working with those to collaborate. We checked with People's Concern. However, there's a process. They have to go through an orientation, and then they get a form because there's about a 2-year waiting list. So we're trying to find out how we can expedite that. And I've been talking to the different council offices and all the councilmen, including Kerman Price and Mark Ridley Thomas's staff. So we'll come back to you hopefully with some good news, and hopefully some of the funding we get can be converted to be able to provide more services for older adults. And we have a new normal because many of the older adults, some we've hired, are sleeping in their cars, and they have master degrees. They can't afford their rent anymore. So this is the new normal, first-time homeless. So my charge is really health equity and working with the homeless population. So I wanted to just tell you that we will be in the neighborhood doing that. We did pop-ups. We really pushed the vaccine due to equity, racial equity, and that was also in District 10 and District 8. We actually so far have gotten about 495 individuals vaccinated, and we're continuing to push that effort. One of the first pop-ups was in District 9, and a week later they were in District 8 and 10. at the Crenshaw Mall. So through those efforts, and I want to thank the council office for getting those pop-ups out through a lot of advocacy that we did, that they were too far away. People couldn't stand in lines. They couldn't be at pods. And they finally did hear us. So we do plan to do a pop-up at the Thomas Center once we do the rededication to get public health out to be involved in that. As Keenan said, we've been around over 50 years providing these services, and we do collaborate with our homeless services program at WLCAC, who's providing rental assistance. So if anybody needs rental assistance or getting evicted, I think they give up to $6,000. They have back rent that's due that they have to pay. If they reach out to us, we'll connect them to our homeless services, our family source program at WLCAC. So we just look forward to a bright future. It took us a while with the pandemic because we had to pivot right away from 1,000 and some odd meals to 1,800 meals a day. And also the mental health issues that so many of our participants were experiencing. We also had to figure out how to address that while trying to open both centers. So I appreciate the neighborhood council, and I hope that we can collaborate on some issues going forward, especially older adult homelessness and health equity and access in your area.
Okay.
And that's about all I have to say.
Thank you so much. We are running a little past time from the agenda, but that's maybe par for the course for UNNC. But nonetheless, we are running a little late. I do see a hand up for at least one question from Dorit.
Dr. Phyllis, my name is Dorit. I'm on the UNNC board, but I'm also on the SELA Neighborhood Homeless Coalition.
Wonderful.
In this neighborhood, in Mid-City area, there's the Mid-City Homeless Hub, which is a bunch of different service providers that get together once a month to talk about new programs that are coming out, new services. Would you like me to do an email introduction between you and the director of that hub, or between?
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Should I do it between you or between Keenan and the person?
We can just,
both of you?
if you can do it to both of us, and then we'll work on it from there. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. You'll see that tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? And again, with the caveat that we're running a little over here, but does anybody else have anything? So I was delighted to meet with Keenan. One of the things that he and I also spoke about is, and we'll talk about this a little more at the very end of the meeting, but with the soon to be opened Gramercy apartments on Washington between Wilton and Gramercy, that's a seniors. Half of the apartments are for affordable seniors and half for homeless, formerly homeless seniors, because they will have housing. But I'm hoping to connect the dots between the building and its occupants and you guys, because they'll just have to walk a block and a half, maybe 2 blocks to have lunch. So I was delighted that the two are coming together at the same time. And we have many other things to talk about, but maybe not tonight because we're running so late.
I apologize.
No. I mean, it's just the way of UNNC meetings. It's how they go. Just saying, because it's hard to anticipate in advance. But I do have 2 other people patiently waiting to do presentations. So anything else from you or from us?
Thank you very much for having me.
Right.
We look forward to speaking soon.
Okay, cool. All right, so I would next like to introduce, if he's here, Mitchell he is here. Mitchell, you are here and I'm making you a co-host. And Keenan, if you could take your screen down. Oh, there it goes. And where's Mitchell? There he is. Hi.
How are you doing?
So if you could introduce yourself and why you're here, and do you need me to share the screen or would you like to share the screen?
Oh, I can share it.
Okay, I've made you co-host, so you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mitchell Christopher, and I'm with MCG and Associates, and we've been engaged by Streets LA to provide education and outreach associated with the Sidewalk and Park Vendor Permit Program. I just want to briefly give you some information regarding that. the sense of urgency with information regarding the program is that the permit presently costs $291 and will be increasing to $541 on July 1. So we'd like to get as many vendors in the program and have them acquire their permits as quickly as possible. As you know, in 2019, state of California legalized sidewalk vending, and in 2020, the LA City Council adopted a program for requiring permits for vendors to sell merchandise and food in the public right of way. It's an annual permit, and once again, it's for selling merchandise and food. And the urgency is if a vendor doesn't have the permit right now, the Streets LA is focused on education, but sometime in the near future, they're going to move to enforcement. And those fines can run anywhere from $250 to $1,000. An idea of what the process is like. It's a very simple process if you're a merchandise vendor. A merchandise vendor just simply has to acquire the business tax registration certificate from the City Department of Finance and the seller's permit from the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. Those processes can be done in person at local offices, or they can be done online. So once you acquire those two certificates and you have the identification, it's just a matter of going to the, making an appointment and going to the Streets LA offices to fill out the application and to enroll and pay the $291 fee. Once again, the permit fee goes up to $541. The process for food is much more extensive. It's the same process, except for a food vendor, you have to have the LA County Public Health Permit. That can take anywhere from 4 weeks and up. That process involves providing the plans for your cart as far as the manufacturing plans. Once those are approved, the cart has to be built. Then the cart is taken to LA County for inspection. And then you have to provide additional information as far as the commissary where you'll be parking your cart and preparing your food. These things, once again, that's a very extended process. So we're recommending that vendors get the merchandise permit now and pay the $291 fee and avoid the higher price. And you can get the food permit and add that to your merchandise permit at no additional cost. So that is the reason for the urgency. Now, the getting the food permit from the LA County permit, that can run over $1,000, and a food cart can run anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000. So for food vendors, it is not an inexpensive process. So we're trying to get vendors on board right now, just getting your permit, get merchandise while you're applying for food. Once you have food, you can add it at no cost. There are considerations in the program going forward to several organizations working with LA County to try to streamline the process for the carts and have pre-approved designs for carts, and also possibly having certifying home kitchens for food preparation rather than commissaries. So those are some of the ideas of what's going on, but just wanted you to be aware that this program is in process. We're trying to get the word out to as many vendors as possible to get them on board and get them in compliance as soon as possible. I would welcome an opportunity for to speak with you all in greater detail, or speak with any organizations in greater detail at your convenience. There are several consultants and community groups who have been engaged by Streets LA to get the word out. I'll be hosting a webinar on June 10th that will provide more information, or more detailed information. But we can also schedule other meetings, but just want to make you aware. And if you have any questions, I'll take them and keep the process moving, keep the meeting moving.
Right. Hugo has his hand up if he wants to unmute.
Hi, Mitchell. Thank you so much for speaking. I really like this presentation, and hopefully you can attend the next Economic Development Committee meeting that we'll be having. And I wanted to ask if I saw some of the requirements to get the permit. I was wondering if they don't have access to an ID or a government ID, if they can use something, well, specifically, if they don't have access to a social security number or something like that, they can use an ITIN.
Yes, they can use an ITIN.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then
Wait,
also,
Hugo, I'm going to interrupt. And what is that? ITN?
oh, it's an individual taxpayer identification number. ITIN.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and also, who is the committee or the subcommittee that determines the amount for the fee? I'm just curious about that.
The Los Angeles City Council determines the fee.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they voted on this already, the 291?
That is correct. And and presently it is going to be increasing to $541 on July 1. So that's why we're trying to get the word out to go ahead and get the merchandise permit now and add food to it as you go through that process. And it won't cost anything to add food to the existing permit.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
If you could provide me with the information for your for the Economic Development Group, I'll be glad to contact you.
Yeah, Mitchell, I'll link all of us together.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Meaning Hugo, you, me, Chris, and we'll plan that on the agenda. Jasmine.
Yes, hi, Mitchell. Thank you so much for the presentation. I just wanted to check in. I know they're not in the UNNC boundaries, but I just wanted to check to see if you connected with SAGE and CD Tech. They're a little further east of us, but still in South LA. And if not, I would love to connect you with them.
Who is that again?
SAGE, Strategic Actions for a Just Economy, and CD Tech.
No, I have not. I'd appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, so Jasmine, that's another email.
L'Oreal Connective.
Will bring us all together.
Okay, thank you.
Raheem.
Yeah, hi, Mitchell. Thank you also for presenting. Couple quick questions. For the food vendor fees that get a little bit high, has there been any talk about making those fees payable like over time, or is that whole chunk of money due up front for food vendors?
There's actually a working group, a couple of community organizations working with LA County to look at the cost of the carts, but also bring in some financial organizations who would help fund or finance the carts. So they are working on programs to ease the process for purchasing the carts.
Got it. And then separately, the fees that are due then, like, is there other talks around that process of making those fees? There's also like the fees are a separate thing aside from the carts, right?
Yes, the fees, those fees are set by LA County. But the working group is pushing the county to reduce those fees as well.
Got it. And then the last thing, I assume that aside from the webinars and stuff, you and whatever other consultants have been hired. Are you guys, I assume you're also doing some like, just some like boots on the ground stuff and interfacing with vendors that way?
Yes.
Yeah, and then if there are, I think your presentation was really great. And if there's any other sort of informational materials that you're sharing, we'd be happy to kind of post those on our social media channels and anywhere else to kind of help get the word out as well. So if you have anything else to pass along to Laura, she can get that to us so we can get it out there as best as we can. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments for Mitchell? Okay, so we are moving on to, well, let me ask you this before I move on to item 6. I can't believe we're only at item 6. Are there any other in the room that I'm not seeing, because we have a lot of people here, representatives from any city agencies or other elected officials' offices? And Reverend, no, you are next. Reverend Hetty, you're next. But just wanting to make sure I'm not skipping somebody. Apparently not. All right, we're on item.
Madam President, it's Gibson. Sorry, I raised my hand.
Oh, okay, Gibson, you are before Reverend Eddie, because you are, I hadn't seen you. Hi.
Hi there, I've been here the whole time. I was just being a listener and trying to take notes here. Hi, everybody. Just real quick. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gibson with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. I am the Neighborhood Empowerment Advocate for this board. Just want to get everybody a heads up as elections are getting finalized and the results are getting officiated. Hopefully that's going to be mentioned. It's on the agenda. Just want to let everybody know once that does happen, I am going to be making sure that all the elected board members will be getting email notifications to complete their trainings, get onto Cornerstone, just kind of get those up and running. And I definitely know that having spoken with the Madam President here, there's definitely a system within the things that are conducted on this board. Just want to make sure that I'm a supplement, and just want to let everybody know that will be also department will be providing trainings down the line. There's going to be an additional training this month of June 22nd. So once everybody will get an invitation to participate and just kind of join in, it will be a 3-hour training, kind of just explaining a little bit more about giving details in regards to parliamentary procedure, sort of from the department's perspective, and based on our experience, how neighborhood councils should be functioning. And so it'd be good also folks who are new into the neighborhood council system to just kind of meet other new board members. So it's going to be open to citywide. Yes. And also there are going to be a few more modules in the next 6 months. One, they'll also have bias training that is required, that's going to be required within the city of Los Angeles system. And so that training will be, it was something that will be offered within the neighborhood council system. Also, we're going to be doing gender equity down the line as well. So just kind of be on the lookout, folks. And I'm going to be coordinating with a lot of you through email. So please be on the lookout for my email, or I'll be giving everybody a call. Other than that, just want to I hope everybody has a great meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Gibson.
Thank you,
we
Madam
are
President.
talking about training a little bit in this agenda as well. I assume you'll be here just in a few minutes down the road.
I'll be leaving at 8:30, but I'll definitely be able to answer as many questions as possible.
Right. I think it'll come up before 8:30 because it's real quick after this next piece.
Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you. Reverend.
Laura, I have a question for
Oh,
Gibson.
sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, and Raheem has his hand up as well. So sorry. But Nancy, then Raheem.
Gibson, in the training session, are you going to go over the Robert's Rules of Order as well?
Yeah, so part of them is it's going to be divided in different modules. And so we also have a couple of trainings that are already built in within our website right now. So we are, yes, and it will go into Robert's Rules of Order. It's something that we did previously last year during the pandemic, and we are going to be reusing it, but it's going to be offered. Just want to confirm this is, I will check the bylaws, but I want to make sure it's Robert's Rules of Order before I say anything.
Ours is Robert's. We don't use
Yes,
the other
it
one.
is.
Fantastic. So we'll definitely go a little into that, but also I'll make sure that everybody has access to the portal that kind of just details a little bit of it. And yes, we would definitely something we're going to be talking about.
Okay. And then just, do you have any cheat sheets on Robert's Rules of Orders within the department?
Not the best cheat sheet. It's still like it's a big cheat sheet because Robert's Rules of Order is very detailed and it's a big 500, is it a couple 100-page book. and with very small writing, but I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to the board for folks.
Well,
Okay,
Gibson, along
great, thank you.
those same lines, when this whole Zoom thing came up back a year or more than a year ago, at one of the done trainings, something was mentioned but not really presented, that the Roberts Rules people themselves have now written a virtual meetings Roberts Rules handbook.
And I think that's definitely going to be adapted. I think one thing to note is we're still going to be virtual for the foreseeable future. And I think it's something that we'll definitely be updating as well as part of sort of the trainings offered from the department.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Gibson? Because I keep starting to introduce Reverend Eddie and then I get stopped again. I think we're good now.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. We are at item number 6, and I'm happy to introduce, well, you go by Pastor Eddie, right? Even though it says Reverend Eddie. Pastor Eddie, the Reverend Eddie Anderson, who is here as the Council District 10's representative to the city's redistricting commission. And he would like to share a lot of information or a little information, I don't know, with you. And if you will unmute yourself. And if do you have any reason to screen share? I made you a co-host.
No reason.
Okay. You're on.
Good evening. Glad to be with you all. My name is Reverend Eddie Anderson. You may know me as Pastor Eddie. I am the redistricting representative for CD10 on the City Commission, Redistricting Commission. I'm also the pastor of McCarty Memorial Christian Church off of Adams, and I live in Jefferson Park. So you have me in multiple ways. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the redistricting commission and what we are doing currently and how it impacts each and every one of you. So every 10 years, as you know, that we redraw the lines of the city. So the 15 council districts, and we redraw the lines to make sure that your representation, your voice is heard. And so right now we are in the process of getting all the census data. The census data was delayed due to the previous administration. It was delayed a little bit. And so we're not going to get the full census data until August and September, which means that the redistricting process by law has to be done by December 31st, 2021. And so we are working hard, and it affects all 15 districts of the city. And so what we are doing now is making sure we have all the tools in place to make sure we are hearing all of your concerns, because there is no city without neighborhoods, and there's no neighborhoods without people, especially communities of interest. And so we want to make sure that you all are heard. And so we will be doing hearings in all 15 districts. These hearings will be a combination of virtual and in person, depending on COVID protocols. The hearings will also have translation capabilities, because we know, for instance, if you live in CD10, that we have multiple languages. You have Spanish speaking, Korean speaking. We have all types of languages. So you want to make sure those are translated in multiple languages as well. And then we want to make sure that you understand the difference between the city redistricting commission, which is the city council districts, as well as the school board, which is different, which is as well as the county. So you'll be getting a lot of information around redistricting, and your neighborhoods are very much impacted because they will draw the lines around what's going on. So we're doing a special workshop or all open hearing for folks to come in and to learn about this on next Wednesday, June the 9th at 6:30. And it's open to all neighborhood councils. Okay, so if you're on neighborhood council, if you are coming on to neighborhood council, it's a public meeting. So we invite you to come and meet with the commissioners, the 21 commissioners, 15 from the council districts, then the mayor has some appointees, the city attorney has some appointees as well. So we invite you to come and and learn about how we're planning on rolling this out, I'll let you know that if you live in CD8, CD9, or CD10, right now we are slating those hearings to happen in the month of August, near the end of August, because we know that these communities are also the districts that have what we call community of interest, right? So these are communities that are usually undercounted, and we know there was an undercount in the census this year. And so especially for our Latinx sisters and brothers and our African-American or Black sisters and brothers as well. So we want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard as we're redrawing the lines, and that we are taking into what the law says, but also want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. So that meeting is going to happen on next Wednesday at 6:30. And if you want to RSVP, you just simply email redistricting.lacity@lacity.org to receive details on how to join the meeting. Once again, that's redistricting lacity@lacity.org. I believe Laura also got an invitation that she can share with some of you all as well. And we would love for you to have your input. These are, and this is important because once you get briefed here, only the information we hear in public hearings can be applied for map drawing. So when people, so folks always say to us, our neighborhood is split, or you didn't hear my comment, or someone, would come to the church and try to tell me some things. I can't take that actually into consideration with drawing the map legally, right? So we want to make sure whatever you say is in public hearings. We're also creating, I'll be chairing the ad hoc committee on the commission on social media and digital outreach to make sure that we have interactive ways for you to draw lines and maps, so you can draw those maps and show us what you think, where your neighborhoods are, what your council districts are. Tell us that you know your city and your block. These are important. And so as one of your colleagues mentioned earlier, we know that neighborhoods were split. When the 10 came, they were split again 10 years ago when we drew the lines. We want to avoid some of that, try to keep neighborhoods whole as possible, and that neighborhood councils are put together as much as we can, given the proportionment and population density that we can as well. So those are some things we're having coming up. We will be engaging you all. It'll be very, very rapid fire. I'll warn you now that as soon as July, when we start doing the hearings, all the way to October and November, it'll be moving really, really quickly because we've been waiting on census data. And the census data, I can get technical about what's wrong with the data, but the census data, for lack of a better word, has not been totally released, and we don't expect it to be totally released until August. So you want to make sure we're doing as much of the hearings and hearing from the people, the qualitative work as possible before we even see some of the quantitative data to make sure everyone's included. And as you know, redistricting is very important. It talks about your representation. It talks about, how money flows in your communities and the health of your neighborhoods and your council districts as well. So we want to make sure everyone knows this is happening because a lot of times people come to the meeting and say, we didn't even know this was happening, but it's impacting my life. So you want to make sure you know that this is happening, and I look forward to working with you all and all the neighborhood councils in CD10 as well as we go forward. I'll be quiet here and invite you all. Any questions?
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share the screen on that email that I got, and I think a lot of people on the board did, but not everyone in this room. So can you all see? I'm trying to share this. I shared the screen successfully, but now I've lost the email. Sorry. I'm going to unshare and try that one more time. Sorry. And Lizzie, I saw you turn on your thing. Does that mean you also have a question? No? Yes?
No, just getting ready for the presentation.
Okay. So I'm not able to share the screen because my AOL screen just went blank. So I think maybe. What do you think? Can you guys see that? Anybody?
Not yet.
No black.
Okay,
Oh, it shows up now.
That's it.
It's okay now.
Okay, so you can see the so it's Wednesday, June 9, 6:30. I'm echoing. So, and I'm gonna so you guys have it because I want to stop this share. And Nancy has her hand raised.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, the June 9th meeting, is that just specifically for neighborhood council members? Because I don't see it in the public.
Yeah. It's being pitched
yes,
for
website.
neighborhood councils, Nancy, but Pastor
It's
Eddie can
for
go into
neighborhood
that.
councils. Anyone who is a leader in neighborhood councils or you're involved in your neighborhood council, we want to invite you to come.
Okay. And the reason I ask is because when I click just the redistricting commission meetings website, it's not listed there. It only lists the June 8th meeting, and the June 9th meeting link or information is not there. So I don't know if that needs to be updated so that others are aware.
Nancy, this might be meant for neighborhood councils.
Yes, it's a special meeting just for neighborhood councils and those who are involved in the neighborhood councils.
Okay.
But I would add, I don't think it's for designated representatives. So since it's for people involved, who participate in neighborhood councils, I feel no shame in having shared that screen, right?
Absolutely. We want you to share and make sure everyone who's involved in neighborhood councils or participates, attends meetings.
Right. But we're not going to send it out on our MailChimp.
Right.
So, okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much. And we will be in contact direct too. Thank you. Next item, Lizzie, our UNNC NC elections update. And are you sharing the screen, Lizzie, or just yakking?
Yes, please. Thank you. Very briefly.
That's okay. And I think you should be able to now.
Okay, I think. It's always. Okay. We're on, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There you are.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Lizzie Moramisato. I'm a member of the board, and this year's I was assigned, or I volunteered actually, to be the chair of the elections committee. It's been a long campaign, long season. We're almost at the final line. Next week, we'll have the official results of the election. So these are just, this is just a very brief summary and report of what we were able to accomplish. These are, this has been a very special and unusual elections season due to the COVID-19 restrictions. We had a vote by mail system model applied this year, where stakeholders were able to submit their votes via either the regular postal service or via a designated drop-off box, which in this case was in my neighborhood of Jefferson Park at one of the public library branches. To that end, because of the vote by mail restrictions, we created a website that also referred stakeholders to the official city elections website and dedicated email address so that people could ask questions related to the elections. We also held a candidates forum via Zoom, which was our first ever. on a Thursday night at the end of April. It was very well attended. We had about 38, 40 participants. So that was very successful. It is now available on YouTube, the whole recording. It was recorded. It is available on YouTube. And all that information is again on our website. We still have the latest information is still uploaded and active. Let's see, what else can I? Some of the, we took advantage and used social media extensively to share ads and posts to keep stakeholders informed about what the different stages, about asking for candidates to run, for stakeholders to become candidates. And then we initiated another phase where the stakeholders could also learn how to actually apply for a ballot and eventually how to vote. So all those phases were heavily promoted on social media via Facebook, our president's e-blasts. Again, we didn't have, until the end of the campaign season, we didn't have a chance to be actively canvassing the neighborhoods. Some of us were actually, yes, reaching out to businesses so that we could actually display our outreach materials, but that was, it was in very restricted, we had very restricted protocols to follow. So these are just some of the outreach materials that you probably saw on sidewalks, maybe businesses. This year we used little free libraries. I'm highly indebted to them because of the pandemic. Again, families, entire families could easily go to a little free library, partake of a book, and browse through the books and actually get informed about our campaign. We spent about $1,200 in outreach materials, which consisted of posters, postcards, and yard signs that we displayed all over the UNNC footprint in two phases. So the first phase was for requesting stakeholders to run as candidates, and then asking people to vote. So these are just screenshots of some of our social media presence. So here's a screenshot of the forum when that happened on April the 29th. You can see the candidates there. Let's see. So at the end of the campaign season, we were actually able to have a presence at one of the first in-person gatherings for one of our neighborhood associations, which was Arlington Heights, and they had a shredding event. So we were able to be there and actually help stakeholders get informed about the elections, and we were able to help them actually fill out the ballot requests. So I think we did help about 20 neighbors, and it sounds like a very small number, but it was actually good because, you know, it was again, you know, we were so limited in what we could do. So we're actually proud of that number. And let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, this was just one of the posts that we created, again, at the very end, urging people to vote. And here there's a mixture of, we did actually, our campaign was also bilingual in both English and Spanish. So That was actually very nice. So at this point, I just would like to acknowledge the help of so many people, our candidates for stepping up and committing to what is going to be a lot of work for them for the next 4 years. The elections committee, Laura, our co-chair, Gabby, Nancy, the communications committee, Rahim, again, Gabby, Michael and Josh for artwork and photos, our website designers, Anne and Doug, our forum moderator, our former UNNC president and friend of the UNNC, Jeff Camp, our board members who helped. A special shout out, I must acknowledge the help of Greg, our treasurer, who helped me so much, doing the heavy lifting of bringing outreach materials to me and installing the yard signs. So that was a lot of work, and I would like to acknowledge and thank him and other board members who helped with different tasks. Neighborhood associations who allowed me to present via Zoom, give tutorials on many occasions. So thank you for them and their support of the neighborhood council system. To the businesses who allowed us to display our posters, keep our postcards on their counters, again, the Little Free Libraries, and everyone else who helped. If I'm forgetting someone, please forgive me. And I just mean to give a shout out to everyone, and to all of them, thank you so much. Gracias. It was a long campaign, and thank you very much.
Well, you forgot to thank the most important person, which would be yourself.
Oh, well, it's teamwork.
Teamwork. But Lizzie, you did a magnificent job, and thank you very much. And yes, everybody can give reactions. Okay, so I don't know if there's any questions. I put on the agenda itself, if you go to the agenda, is the election results link. It is not final yet, but you can go back to the agenda in a couple of days and click that same link, and you will see the final list of those who will be serving on our board. The new people, the team A, is that right, Lizzie? It's the A group, that not B group. I'm losing track.
I believe it's A.
Yeah, group A, which is half the board, 12, the new 12 members will be at that link. They're there now, only it's not final results. So, and there's a couple of places where it actually isn't clear yet. Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments, or shall we move on quickly to the board training report, which I think would be Greg. Is that right? There he goes. But you're muted, Greg.
Good evening, everyone. So this is our report from the city's, excuse me, city's website of our training information. We color code it. If you are in red, then your training, if it's expired, which means that you're not able to vote on funding issues. If you see that your name is tan in color, that just lets you know that you have training that is coming up, and that it's best to go ahead and take that training ahead of time rather than waiting for that actual date, actual month. So let's just get ahead of that training so that we're all in compliance and we can vote. As Gibson has shared, additional training is coming towards us. We all love to go to more training, yay, yay, yay. But let's make sure that we get this training done so that we can be good stewards of this city's funds and execute this, represent our community. Any questions on the training information? Also, if you have any problems with the cornerstone, Kyle will help us with that. Also, I will send you reminders of your training information and help you with that as need be. Okay, So that will be it on the
Yeah.
training information.
So Greg, I do have, if Gibson is still here, I don't know if he is. We did get an email from Empower LA saying, for some of you have training due and you may not remember what your cornerstone is. So what's unfortunate is that the group of us who are in group B, as opposed to group A, those of us who ran for election 2 years ago, and if we hurried up and actually took our training before July 1 or in the first 2 weeks of July, we did not do it on Cornerstone because it was not invented yet, or at least not released to us. So I am in that group. I don't have a Cornerstone login. So Gibson, I would be hoping, or Greg, if you want to talk to Kyle, that for those of us who've never been on Cornerstone, that the department make an effort to just provide us our logins. Because what the email said is, check your email, you can probably find it. But,
Right.
but
may be
for
best
those of us
just
who
to
never had it, we're not going to be able to find it.
Yeah, it may be best just to ask Cal to send out a
Yeah.
Cornerstone link to everyone. So
I'll make sure it gets to everybody. One thing about it is I definitely know that one thing I just want to mention, yes, like some aspects, Cornerstone has always been used within the city for city employees, but as the department has been streamlining some different aspects of it, that's why we are using it. But I'll definitely make sure Cornerstone logins get to everybody, because I don't want to make an assumption that folks know what it is or have access to it already. So I
Right.
just want to make sure that folks are able to have access to it. So I'll make sure it gets to folks.
Right. Thank you very much. Because again, I, for one, did complete my training before there was Cornerstone last time around, because it was sent out in late July of 2019. So yeah. So there was no Cornerstone when I did it. So it's all cool. And when I did funding, Greg and I got in a vehicle and went downtown and took full funding. So that too was also not Cornerstone.
Yeah, I think I just kind of want to mention that as the department is updating certain processes in the city, is updating different elements of sort of the workplace systems. I think the pandemic has sort of forced sort of expedited certain changes that are going to be implemented also within the neighborhood council system as well.
Okay, that's cool. So, so Greg is tracking it pretty closely. Kyle's tracking it pretty closely. I will say, probably Paula, certainly me, probably Isaac, maybe Chris. We may or may not have our Cornerstone, but we really need to get it. You know,
I do know. I'll get it to you because I definitely have been working. I'll make sure you have it, but I know you're.
Yeah, I mean, I'm calling out people who I just know were in my pledge class, as it were.
Yeah, I'll get to you.
Great.
I'll make sure
Nancy.
I get it to everybody.
Yeah, Nancy has her hand up.
Gibson, at what point are the new board members going to be given access to their Cornerstone login information?
I'm waiting the moment the election results are certified. Once everything is certified, I'm hopefully by Monday, Tuesday. My end goal is make sure you have access to it. I definitely know one thing is onboarding folks is always an issue. So I want to make sure that if there's anybody who has any issues with it accessing through tech, I think I'll want to figure out how to help them. But by Wednesday, the latest, I'm hoping you'll be able to get it. You'll get an email notifying you, and you'll get an email from me and new board members just kind of explaining what the process is and how to get your login information.
Okay, is it this Wednesday or the following Wednesday? Isn't there a period of time for, not that it's going to happen to us, for challenges? I don't think that's going to affect us, but isn't there a?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say by next Wednesday it's going to be certified. But I could, if there's going to be any issue, I may be wrong, and I do apologize for that. But once everything is certified, you'll make sure you get everybody will get their login before the next board meeting. I am working on that. It's something that we've been doing on an individual basis. There's still not a smooth process once everybody is certified into getting everybody into Cornerstone and connecting it to our website. It's a little still manual. So we're trying to figure out how the best way to automate that and streamline it for our admin team. And also just as us as your NEA, making sure all that information is up to par and making sure we have your phone number and want to know which is your best email contact during the neighborhood council process, because we always encourage folks to use their neighborhood council email and not infuse their personal email for neighborhood council business, because that does become a problem down the line when a public request that comes in.
Okay, yeah, that's a roster thing that I will handle with you guys.
I got it.
I mean,
I'll definitely.
and
Well,
Raheem. I mean,
I'll
it's a
work with you.
multitude of, we have a multitude of people with hands in all of this. So
It's
Raheem will create the new UNNC emails for all the incoming board members.
And as I like to say, onboarding folks, it's a collaborative effort. It's not a one-person job. So I'll definitely be working with everybody just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Cool. And Raheem, I hope, can you acknowledge that you just heard what I said? Sadly. Are you here putting the kids to bed? All right. Well, anyway, Raheem.
Thumbs up.
Okay, cool. Because Raheem's the master of our email universe. Okay. Next item. If there's something else. John Arnold, I just put on planning and zoning, not that I have anything, follow up to previous cases, discussion and possible action. I've got nothing. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything. I'm not prepared.
Okay, look, another round of applause. Okay. But you guys, just remember this for the next time we have 5 things, because we can't help ourselves, because that's just the way the calendar works. Okay, next item. Greg, you're up. It's a little late by 30 minutes, but you are up on the administrative packet. Can you explain what it is? Because you just put up the budget. Can you explain what we need to do by July 1? Oops, but you're mute. You're still mute.
Okay, good evening, everyone. The main component of our administrative package is the budget for the year. And then once the administrative package, it's really just me putting the categories in the administrative package and saying who's going to be the first signer and second signer. But the major part for the body to focus on, and the committee members and the board members to focus on, is the allocation of our funds. So first of all, we start off with our projected yearly allocation. This, of course, will change based upon any rollover, or if the city decides that they will give us an additional funds. So what I want to do is to first go over the different categories, the 100 category, 200 categories, and then go down the individual lines to show you what we have placed on those lines. I don't want to be too tedious with that and too boring with the numbers, but I do want you to see where we have placed money and the percentage of our budget in the different areas. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Okay. So we start off with $32,000. We don't have our rollover amount yet. We probably will. We have this funds, this $4,250 that we just keep for Clean Streets awards that we can use someday. We don't have any encumbered funds for the upcoming year. So this is $32,000 is the amount that we are working with. The first area of operations, I want us to see the percentage of our budget in each of those areas. And Laura, I can't see any hands raised, so I'm gonna just keep going and let me know if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, there aren't any hands raised
Okay. All right.
at the moment, and I would actually rather at least we go through the sections.
Okay.
Complete
All right,
each section, and then if anyone has a question.
Okay. All right, the first area is the operations, and based upon what we have here, half of our budget, 50% of our budget is going to operations. That may or may not be of concern. It is worth pointing out. The next section, the 200 section outreach, we have allocated 18.75% of our budget. Then the next section, community improvement, we have allocated 18.75% of our budget. And then neighborhood purpose grants, 9.38%, and then election for 100% of our budget. Right. Now, of course, all that can change depending upon how we decide to use our money.
Greg, I'm sorry. Is this year's or next year's?
This is projected for next year.
Yeah, we don't have an election next year.
Yeah, but I put it in there anyway. So that's, again, this is just a draft thing. And
Got it.
so what we can do is just, not just money that we can use for something else. Now, the operational, this is what we need to have to keep the lights on, copying, training board retreat. We have a new area that we need to consider, facility and space rental. We may have to continue paying for rental space and renting space. So we place money in there. We put $1,200. We may need to put a little more on that. In the past, we've spent more money than $600 in refreshments, but we reduced that because we may be probably still in some type of hybrid meeting, Zoom meeting, so that amount has been reduced. Office equipment and supplies, we in the past, we were able to use CD10's office for making copies, but we may need to spend money. Excuse me, if I turn around, I have a new family member, a new dog that she has a paper, she has a bag. Okay. So we have the $355 for office expenses. For postal expenses, $400. This is the temporary staff where we have hired a graphic designer and photographer. So we have $3,120 on this line for this year. And then translation services, we had that on it, but we never used that. And then phone services, and then website maintenance, enhancements and creation, $8,960. And you see the footnotes here. We go down the footnotes, it talks about more in detail on the individual lines. And then we always have this money that we set aside for business cards that sometimes we don't use it, but we set aside $500 for business cards. So again, that's 50% of our budget for operational things. Then in the area of outreach for advertising, we need to buy supplies. And I know Lizzie was talking about some of the things that she wanted to do, like tablecloths and things like that, advertisement. So we have $1,000 there. And then we have event expenses for different things different events that we have done in the past. We see footnote 3, where we can look down at that and see what that looks like. Again, that's only 18% of our budget. I think once we get down into the individual projects from the different footnotes, that's when people will chime in on those different areas. Then community improvement projects, we did this last year and we placed it in the budget again for this year of specific money, $3,000 for each specific block club or neighborhood club to come and request funds for their specific neighborhood, whether that's Arlington Heights or Sugar Hill or wherever we might live. And then another thought was that we would reach out to different schools in our area to talk to parents and talk to the leadership in the schools. And that way we talk to the schools, we can support those schools, and then also have those community members being involved with UNNC. Okay. And then we have the Neighbors Purpose Grants. We have $3,000 on that. For last year, we ended up putting the majority of our money in this area. We didn't plan on that initially, but that's what ended up happening for this year. Some of it was because of administrative requirements. And then we have that $1,000 that we put on election that can be moved somewhere. So now we could come down here and we could look at the details, the footnotes. Planning and zoning, we puts out $100 for planning and zoning. To my knowledge, planning and zoning has never used any of their money, but you know, they may need ink or something like that for their meetings or paper or something like that. We can see miscellaneous support, bookkeeping. We haven't used that in the last couple of years, but we still have that there if we need to hire some temporary help. Again, we're looking at the graphic designer and photographer for this year. We use the services in this current year. We plan on continuing with that. So that's for staffing. And then we come down here to the different events. As we come back up here for outreach, footnote 3, we come down here to, hopefully I'm not making you dizzy with this, but we look at the different events that we have had in the past and those that we can have for this next year. For Harvest, in the past, we gave them, because of the COVID, the pandemic, we gave them, I believe, $5,000, $7,000 last year for feeding purposes. We had the fire station project that was presented to us last year. And so that's why I have this as earmarked as that was presented to us last year, but they still need to get their paperwork together. So we still have that $3,000 that we want to work on fulfilling that. We put in $1,000 for the Walk on Washington because that is part of our economic development. In the past, we put over $3,000 on that. And then due to pandemic, we may or may not have this West Adams Jazz Festival or not. The National Night Out, we may not have that, so I don't have any money set aside for those items. And then we thought that the different committees may have different projects or different requests for funds. So we put aside $500 for the different committees to be used. And that came to a total of $5,000 in the area of outreach. And then once we come down to footnote number 4, this gives us the detail on our website, eBlast, website hosting, GoDaddy. That would assume that will remain the same, $160. Site tech upgrades, that's $900 in estimate $900, and that gives us $8,960. Footnote number 5, the community improvement projects. Again, neighborhood specific projects. Again, focusing on outreach to specific neighborhoods, saying that UNNC has supported your specific neighborhood, letting them know that we are working for our community members, reaching out to schools, continuing different projects. This is a tutoring system that we supported this year. We supported them this year with $4,000. In the past, we had a spade neutering project. I don't have anything set on that for now. Friends of Williams grants. Still, we supported them. We didn't give them any money last year. Friends of Jefferson Library, we supported them in the past. And so you can see we just have $500 set aside for each of those items. And then I have one here, new request that someone may come in and present us a request. So we, rather than just obligating all our funds, have some funds set aside for any new requests that may come in. Like, for example, we had a presenter this earlier in the public comment talking about her project. So we want to have some funds free. So that's the overview.
Mm-hmm.
Please keep in mind that when we submit this budget, on the administrative package, we can change it, but we need to submit a budget so that when the year starts, we can actually use all of our funds. So if we don't submit our budget, then we're limited to about like 300 some bucks or something like that, $333 that we can spend. So my request is, I know we can, well, let's open for discussion before I tell you what motion I
Right,
want to
well,
make.
and we need to discuss the bureaucratic piece of this as well, probably before we have discussion.
Okay,
So
we have 2 hands up.
I
You
see
want to
that, and so I just want to jump in. We are talking about a budget that can be changed, so that's number one. But number two, the actual administrative packet, which hasn't even been released, so we haven't filled it out, also includes the inventory, which we haven't done. So we won't be voting to approve the administrative packet tonight because we don't have it to approve. So we have a later agenda item that we'll be discussing when is our next meeting, but it will have to be either at the end of June or back to July 1. But we have to approve that administrative budget no later than July 1, ideally before July 1. So we have money for the fiscal year. Otherwise, we are stuck. So, and it's not just the budget. So we're really gonna do the budget tonight. That's what the questions are about. We're doing, but we'll have a administrative vote on the administrative packet filled out where it will be in advance in our agenda packet and everyone can read it. And we just say yes or no and vote on it next time. Raheem and then Chris.
Yeah, Greg, thank you. Wondering how much detail is required on a budget that we have to submit? Like how granular are we required to get with the money that we're budgeting?
Let me show this information here. What we have here is sufficient. And I can show you.
Yeah, I think this is more than sufficient.
Yeah,
I think we just do categories in what we, it's a different piece of paper, as it were.
My question is getting at, like, do we even have to be, and if this is what it is for right now, it's fine, but I'm just wondering if we have to be this specific. Because I mean, this, in my years on the board, I feel like we're always changing the budget when it comes, to the middle end of the year. And so my question is,
Madam President, may I answer that question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let me share this. This is the administrative package. Let me make it larger for you. Now, since I have to type all the information in on this, like it's mostly just clerical stuff, like second sign. So to me, if we approve the budget, because we know who the first card person is, we know who the second card person is, that's Laura and Hugo, because those are people that hold those positions now. So to me, the administrative package is just that, an administrative thing, because to me, if we approve the budget for the year, then I will put that information in this package and submit it. So I do think that we could approve the budget.
We haven't, no, Greg, we don't have the inventory. That's the other piece of it. We haven't done it. We have a problem with the inventory. I can explain it later. I can explain it now. We will have to have a second vote. It's not that big of a deal, but just so everyone knows, we will have to have a second vote. We can approve your budget, and that makes the second vote real easy, if I'm saying that right. But we'll have to have a second vote. Because among other things, sadly, we don't have this in our advanced agenda packet, and I didn't write this in such a way. The agenda item also doesn't actually say it. So, but it's no big deal. It'll be a 5-minute second vote at the next meeting. Easy. So let's talk about the budget. And again, Raheem still has his hand up, and then Chris
Okay.
too.
Nope, lowering my hand. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Chris?
Two questions. One was on the website. Was that amount entirely salary, or were there costs to maintain the website that are like fees and other structures?
It's Raheem, do you want to answer that, or do you, some of it?
Yeah, if you share it again, I can talk specifically. Yeah,
okay.
it's like the hosting
Yeah.
is a technical thing. I think most of it is probably salary.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, the credit card is used for about, I don't know, $1,200 of that total for this, that, and the other related to SiteGround and all, you know, I mean, Raheem knows what these things are, but they do add up. So
Yeah.
about 1,200 of it is that stuff, but we also kind of bury Facebook boosts into that too. I mean, you know, we're saying web, but it's sort of all of the above.
All right. So, just just looking at it, I would hope that we could, going forward, try to reduce the percentage that it goes to our operations, because that means we can put more money directly into some of our direct purposes. But since nothing is, we can vote on this and make changes further down that can be resolved going forward. But I think as a general goal, I would like to see our operations coming in more like 30-35% of our total budget rather than 50% of our budget. If that, I know in certain years, if we're adding special projects like the photography and the graphics, is that going to be an ongoing thing, or is that was a one-off thing?
Okay. Greg and I both ended up raising our hands. I'll let Greg jump in, but I certainly have some things I have to say about this too. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Well, I do, well, the temporary staff of the graphic designer and the photographer, it is in the operational side, and that is $3,000. But the really functionally, that goes into the outreach, because it strengthens our tools to reach the public. So I do see it, operational. I have the same thought, Chris, about 50% is too much of our money in operational. So yes, we're focusing on doing things with our website. We're focusing on doing things with having a photographer so we can have eye-catching things to catch the public, but it will be seen in our outreach efforts also.
Right.
Okay.
So and then Chris, I need to address this as well. So our operations costs have to be higher this year from a budget point of view until we know better. And the reason is we will be in a new facility for our meetings, and we will have to pay a facility fee that'll basically probably just essentially be for cleaning, but we have to pay it. We've enjoyed freeness, pure freedom from money spending for the entire life of our neighborhood council by having our meetings at the council office, by having the council office paying for our photocopies, by the council office and also the firehouse being our storage facilities that we didn't have to pay for. All of that is over. We have to pay for this stuff. Worse, if we really end up having to do hybrid meetings, meaning a combination of Zoom and in person, we have to invest in some equipment and maybe 2 sets of it, one for our general meetings and maybe one for a different location for committee meetings. This will be a one-time thing, and it just unfortunately is happening at the exact same year that our budget is really slashed. We didn't feel the slash last year. It was slashed also to 32,000, but we were able to roll over almost 9,000 and encumber the funds for the trees. So we never felt it this year because we simply were unable to spend money during COVID. So we had all that money. We've spent all of the rollover, all of the encumbered, and all of our budget this year. So we're starting out next year with maybe $1,000 and maybe $7 rollover, depending on how it works out. Or if one of our funding projects has to roll over, that'll still be money that we'll want to give back to the same project that rolled over. So 50% is too much, but it's because it's 50% of 32 and not 50% of 45 or 48. But that operations number is just a number that we're not going to be able to avoid. So I think as a goal, having 50% in operations sucks and we shouldn't do it. I think we're all in agreement. And if we can figure out a way, so just so everybody understands, if we do a hybrid Zoom meeting, if the state legislature not just votes for it for the Brown Act, but requires it, what it means is we have to have a meeting in person with at least the chairperson of that meeting at a publicly accessible ADA compliant space where any member of the public may go. And everybody else can be in their homes on Zoom, but we have to have it so everybody can see everybody else. And possibly, it gets worse, need a security guard from what the general manager of the department is saying, because we may also still need to control the number of people allowed in the room. And it's like, well, the chair is not going to be able to do that. So this is so up in the air that we have to put the money in the budget if we have to spend it, but hopefully we never have to spend it.
Okay, well, thank you for a very thorough explanation. I appreciate that. My last point was on the schools. I think there's an opportunity to do outreach to the schools, but I don't know that we need to have a particularly deep budget for it, because everyone should recognize there is a tremendous amount of money that is going to be flowing to schools in this year and from the federal and the state and the level. And so outreach to try to engage parents as member of our communities, I think we could partner with schools, but I don't think we have to look at schools as a high need entity, because they will enjoy some of the best funding they've seen in decades.
Cool.
Okay, that's all.
Anybody else? Okay, so what I want to say is, I hope we all keep our wish lists going. Greg had sent out an email with wish lists, and we see the stark reality of $32,000, which we want to remind ourselves there are families who live on half of that a year. So we'll be able to do this, but let's keep the wish list going, because any number of things could happen, including the city council could go back and actually implement another thing they have voted on and passed before, but they haven't switched our budgets. But there already was an approved vote to make sure that the neighborhood councils with more people like us, and neighborhood councils in areas of where more people are distressed, which may not be us, to be honest. I mean, the disadvantage, when we looked at that, when the controller shared the screen and showing about the different census tracts, or when the city council was looking at the budget and how to spend the $150 million from the LAPD, CD10, so I don't know about UNNC in particular, CD10 was in the middle ranks of the council districts, not at the top where we had more disadvantaged census tracts. So I don't think we'll get that extra money, but there may well be some extra money to parse out to neighborhood councils that are above 20,000 stakeholders, which we certainly are, but not tomorrow, not today, not tomorrow. Hugo.
I'm also interested about the amount of money allocated for interaction with schools. I'd be interested in finding out what would be a good amount. Like Chris said, they're going to be getting a lot of money. It's my hope that a lot of it will be able to be put to use for things like, events and projects that would help us with outreach. So I think maybe that's something that we should do a lot more research on to find out what would be a good amount to allocate for that. And then also for the walk on Washington, I wanted to ask, and then I have a follow-up question. So we have $1,000 reserved for that, right?
Yes.
But,
Okay.
but that's the budget item, Hugo. I think your committee will maybe come up with a, stroll on Pico, walk on Washington, bike on Jefferson. I mean, in other words, you guys are going to come up with a thing that may not be, wow, walk on Washington, but we need to set the money aside to something.
Ours will be Jive on Jefferson.
Jive on Jefferson. Yeah, no, I'm saying the idea here is to boost the small business, shop local, whatever we call it. For the budget purposes, it's set aside for the thing we already have, but it probably won't be that thing per se.
Right, because I think it would be nice to.
I like Jive on Jefferson.
Walk on Washington, but also there and on, let's say, Venice, Pico, Jefferson. And I don't know how it would be possible to make the money stretch. And at the moment, I don't even know how much money we're going to have available for it, because obviously we're barely getting past this pandemic, and we still don't know how feasible it's going to be to even plan those kinds of events.
Correct.
And so it's just something that's on my mind, those kinds of events like Pico, Venice, Washington, Jefferson. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, the more excited the Economic Development Committee gets on this, and clever and creative, the more likely you'll get some money. And remember, we can also partner with other organizations. So I think that would be my other message, you guys, for being creative on our wants and desires. Think of projects where we're partnering with others, so that can help stretch our money too. But we don't need to worry about that tonight. As Greg said, do we want to give Greg a thumbs up vote yes on this budget that he's proposing? Or what? I should remind everybody, there's no chat function tonight. Sorry. I don't know what happened on Zoom. I will have to check with tech support tomorrow. So if anyone does a motion, let's make it real darn simple. So we can just write it down the old fashioned way with a pen. Dorit.
I'd like to move that we vote on the proposed budget that Mr. Jackson has shown us.
Vote yes?
I'd like us to vote yes.
No, I mean, is your motion to vote yes? Or is your motion that we vote?
Laura, you're confusing the hell out of me. I'm saying let's vote on this motion. Let's make a motion and vote on this budget.
The budget. The proposed
to approve
budget.
The budget.
Proposed budget.
Okay.
Who's on first?
Yeah.
Dorit's on first.
Okay, so Dorit's motion is to approve the proposed budget. Is there a second?
2 seconds.
Oh, John Arnold has his hand up. John?
I didn't need to.
Okay, John doesn't have his hand up. Okay, we'll have to BAC this, but is there anybody else have any comments? So let's do the roll call. Greg, do you want me to just do this BAC, or do you want to do it?
I have it ready to go.
Okay, so I will just simply call the roll.
Names.
Calling the roll, and this is because we're at least being recorded for agenda item 10. The motion is to approve the proposed 2021-2022 budget. Jasmine.
Yes.
Dorit.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Is Tori still here? Oh, did Tori's, Greg, is Tori's funding
He's
expired?
ineligible.
Okay. Is she even here?
She was, I think she was the phone number.
She was here earlier. I mean, Tori, you can
She's not
answer.
responding, so then she's absent.
Okay, so absent. Paul King is absent. Carlos is absent. Laura votes yes. Hugo?
Yes.
Paula? Everybody can unmute themselves, please. Paula? She's frozen. Was that a yes?
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Raheem?
Yep.
Isaac is absent. Marielle?
Yes.
Hugh?
Yes.
Cordell is absent. Michael?
Yes.
Chris? Ineligible. Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Janie left, so she's absent. And Lizzie?
Yes, and thank you so much, Greg.
You're welcome. Janie left, and then Gabby.
Is Gabby here?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, motion passed.
Right, it's 13. So do we really only have 14 people here? I mean, board members?
Well, I've counted Tori before, but then, because I thought she was the phone.
No, I think
number.
we're down to 14. So everyone keep in mind, we have to now move really fast because we're down to 14 board members, 13 is quorum.
Okay.
Okay. And I think we're tabling the secretary's report again because I don't think Gabby's here. Yes, Greg?
Yeah, Madam President, I just want to say that the inventory is, when I submit that, that's just a separate part from the.
We have to vote on it, that's all. And we can't yet because.
I'm not finished making my statement. It's just not, that's not part of the annual budget submission.
Okay.
From what I can see on the website, but I heard what you said, and so, but I'm just saying, that's not, the inventory is not part of the annual budget submission.
Correct. It's not part of the budget. It's part of the full administrative packet. And I will explain to everybody under President's report why we don't have the inventory. That's a whole other thing, whole nother thing. We have a problem. Whole nother thing. Okay. But so you weren't raising your hands on tabling the secretary's report?
No.
Okay, we're tabling the secretary's.
I want to be done. I want to be done.
Fine, we're tabling the
I was making my
secretary.
last effort to be done so I could type it up and submit it, but I will not. I got you. I'm with you. I got you.
Yeah. No, you get to type it up. It's all perfect. We'll type it up, and then whenever we have the next board meeting, it'll be 3 minutes. It's no big. We can email it out in the whole darn 9 yards. Okay, executive committee. Nancy, you're kind of up. Are you ready?
Sure. Laura,
I mean, this is just a quick summary, right?
Draft? Yes, right. The draft wasn't posted.
That's correct.
Okay.
I crashed.
So I'll just
and
give a
burned.
quick summary. Okay, no worries. So the executive committee is undertaking a review and revision of the standing rules, which have not been updated since 2015. The standing rules, set forth the rules that the governing board and the committee will use to administer the meetings in accordance with the bylaws. So there's just certain actions that the standing rules refer to that we're not necessarily abiding by, and we no longer practice. And so that's one of the reasons that we've taken up revising the rules. So if you go on the UNNC website, you can see the most recent draft of the 2015 standing rules. So Laura and I are updating them. So some things that we're updating are, how committees are run, how agendas are posted, how the chairs, actually run their meetings, which standing committees are going to be maintained every year, and which standing committees the board will have to approve each year, especially as as not everyone, we're not able to find chairs for every single standing committee that has been listed in the standing rules. So we'll have to do that on a one-on-one basis each fiscal year. We're hoping to have a final draft by the next, or an updated draft to share with everyone at the next meeting, whether it's at the end of June or July, that we'll then vote and approve, hopefully. Please do note, however, that these standing rules can be updated every year, and it just needs to be approved by the board. So we're trying to do, the most necessary. We're trying to update them with the most important updates this year, with the expectation that we'll undergo a similar process next year with the new incoming board.
Right.
Laura, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, I mean, and we've had this discussion, it's been agendized at executive committee a couple of meetings in a row, and thoughts about if I'm saying this right, taking this existing standing rules and kind of me looking and saying, oh, we don't do this, we don't do that. So kind of writing comments on them, that's been posted in the agenda packets for executive committee a couple of months in a row. But I see Dorit has her hand up, and I've heard from one or two other board members that they might want to participate in this process. And of course, you're welcome to. And if what you want to do tonight is, have us do a quick ad hoc committee, meaning if anybody wants to help Nancy and I, we can quickly appoint an ad hoc committee to meet before executive. So it'd have to be quickly, but it need not be Brown Act compliant, as it were, if it's ad hoc. So,
yeah. And the other, yes, and so that's the goal. I mean, whoever wants to provide comments, I mean, I think we're going to share a draft at the executive committee in 2 weeks. So then, I mean, the way that I'm thinking about process is that we'll share the draft at executive committee. Of course, we can have an ad hoc committee before then. There'll be comments, there'll be revisions, and then the next draft will be circulated at the governing board meeting. Right. The other thing is, if someone's familiar with Robert's Rules of Order, which is what our bylaws state we have to run our meetings in accordance with, I would really appreciate your help, because that's not something I'm familiar with, and that's what our bylaws and the standing rules contemplate at this time.
Right. Dorit, you have your hand up.
Nancy, thank you so much for taking on this task. It's not a fun one, I'm sure. I would like us to make this an ad hoc committee that is longer than just one meeting. I believe that this is something that we need to craft our standing rules, see what is working, give thought, and maybe do some research on better ways of running meetings. I've sat on another neighborhood council that was run completely different than this one, although I must say this one, that UNNC, is much nicer and kinder to each other than that one was. And I've gone to a lot of neighborhood councils to get money for the nonprofit that I'm a board member of. So I've seen how many neighborhood councils are run, some good, some bad, but there's some things we can take from each of them. So I would really love to, now you're saying we're going to make some changes this year and we can make other changes next year. I'm assuming this year you mean that it's ending
in a month,
July.
And then next year would be the one that starts July 1st. So maybe we could really meet a few times, craft some really great standing rules, get feedback from other, by watching what other neighborhood councils do and other governing bodies do things, and then come to the board with something that would be spectacular, or as spectacular as standing rules could ever be, and really make this a process, make this something, not just a I don't work very well really quickly. So I would like us to see this, to do this in a more thought out way. And I'm saying thought out from my perspective. Maybe you guys work really great quickly and get great ideas on the fly. So I don't mean to insult anyone.
Yeah, Dorit, I understand your point. This undertaking, which actually has been agendaed at executive for about 6-8 months and brought up at board for the last year and a half. This particular effort is to do a quick update to standing rules to bring them to being accurate to what we are doing. And as well, I mean, Nancy didn't mention this, we need to add some stuff about digital social media. I mean, some of that other stuff. And then embark on the project, I think, that you're describing. We're just so not in line. Our standing rules are not accurate is the problem. They're just simply not accurate. And we do have a new board about to sit. So our hope was to not quickly, because it's been actually on and off at executive committee for some time. It's just Nancy freed up some time to really dig into it. Is to have standing rules when we have a new, not 12 new people, but I think 8, something to put in the board packet handbook that we're trying to also pull together that is accurate as to what we're really doing, and as well to give some more flexibility as to not how to run the committee meetings, which I think you're focused on, but which committees can we have standing rules that don't exactly specify each and every standing committee, because if we do it that way, as it is currently, then every time we add a committee, we have to change the standing rules. So we don't have any flexibility. So I do hear what you're saying, and it would be really nice to have a true elegant redrafting. That's major. That's really major and needs a lot of people involved. We're trying to do not so much minor, but something in between minor and major. And Dorit,
Okay.
Hand up again.
My hand's up again because I'm interested in more than just the committees. I'm very interested in how this governing board meeting is run. There's some ways we can make it much more efficient. And I hear what you're saying about getting things ready for next month, but I'm really hoping that as a body, we will commit to having a committee that will address this during our next term. And that now I'm finished.
I mean, we should always have a standing, as it were, although I want flexibility on what we call standing committees, but a standing bylaws and standing rules committee, actually. There should always be one. I mean, every neighborhood council should have somebody paying attention to best practices, which is what the standing rules is about, pretty much. Anyway, so what do you want to what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Dorit, do you want to join us in an ad hoc committee and hurry up and do some work right now? I mean, that would be my question.
Well, Laura, before that, I mean, that's ultimately going to be the decision point, right? Whether we're willing to just fix the inaccuracies of the standing rules and vote for them, or to continue with the 2015 standing rules until next year when we vote to create an ad hoc committee. I mean, that's really right, the decision point, because we really have 1 month left of this fiscal year where we're really just trying to correct the inaccuracies. But if the board is not willing, is not going to be willing to accept that, project, then we would have to wait until next year to form an ad hoc committee that's going to really, take a longer, go through a more extensive process to really create a best practices standing rules procedure.
Right. Okay, Chris, then Paula.
Yeah, I totally support the idea of cleaning up our current language on our standing rules to make it compliant with what we do and to get inaccuracies out. But I also want to support Dorit in the concept that there are some longstanding issues with our efficiency of operations of our meetings that we really need to address to be fair to not only to our stakeholders and people who come before us, but also to our members as well. We can and should and need to do a better job. We need to get our timelines tight, and we need to be able to get our business done in a efficient way, not go 7:30 at night. We just need to address that. So I support that as well.
Okay, Paula?
And I am in agreement. I'm not saying, Nancy, not to do what the plan is right now. I think we need to do that. But then after that, we need to have a committee like Chris and Dorit are saying to really go over it. But clean up first and then review after.
Okay. Does anybody else have a comment? Okay, so Nancy, I don't know that I have a clear path. You, I mean, Nancy, yeah, are you still here?
I mean, I don't know if we can just take a short, I mean, like just a poll to see who's okay with just us doing the cleanup and then the review, or if there's a group of people that just feel strongly that there needs to be a review. Because if there's a strong vote for us to do a comprehensive review, then we should just hold off and do the next fiscal year.
Okay, so let's.
So I don't know if we could do a poll.
Yeah, Raheem has got his hand up. I do see we have a poll thing on the Zoom, but I'm not sure I know how to use it. Raheem?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, unless, and look, I completely understand the importance of a comprehensive review, but I think unless the people who are gonna vote for that comprehensive review to take place in lieu of the quick review, unless those people are willing to like immediately join that ad hoc committee and get to work on that right away, then this is not something that we shouldn't just do one or the other at this point, because like, I feel like we've come to this point on this board a lot of times where we vote to do something like the harder, longer way, and then getting the bodies in the seats to do that hard work, the harder, longer way, is the impossible task, and we're kind of left back at ground zero. So I fully support doing the quick thing, and obviously keeping our eye on the bigger goal, absolutely. But like, this is how we have to like take our small victories where we can. We have to like move forward in the moments that we can. And this is the moment where we have, you know, two very smart people who are willing to like do some work for us that we need to have done. I'm all for letting you guys do that work, but then keeping our eye on the bigger goal at hand.
Hey, Nancy, do you know he just called us wonks? I guess that's a compliment, right? We're good. We're smart. Okay.
I said smart, yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, because people always say, Laura, you're a wonk. But I think in this case, it does take that wonkness to do it. Nancy had suggested just a quick poll. So can you guys,
Wait a
whoever
second.
is.
I have a question. Laura?
Sure.
What's a wonk?
Oh my God.
Sorry.
It's someone who knows all the technical, who can understand the technical details of a planning case, a geology oil drilling thing, or in this case, bylaws and standing rules and Robert's rules and all that stuff.
Thank you. I never heard the term before.
You know, it's just someone who can grasp the details.
Okay, thanks.
So I don't know how to do an actual poll, even though they say there's a poll thing here in Zoom. So what I'm gonna just ask is if you know how to raise your blue hand, or if you're not able to hit the reaction to, just if this is a yes, the question is, should Nancy and Laura, and if Dorit wants to join us, that's fine, but should we proceed with a quick not quick and dirty, quick and accurate cleanup of the existing standing rules, and then wait and see if the next board wants to do it more thorough? That's the question. Yes, proceed on a quick cleanup. Just raise your little blue hand. It's not a motion.
I'm sorry, I'm very confused. So this is for voting for both a quick cleanup and
No,
a
no,
comprehensive?
just a quick, I'm sorry, polling, does everybody want it? Anybody who wants to proceed and have Nancy and I spend a little more time and get this cleaned up and presented at executive board, just raise your hand. It's not a motion. We're not voting. Okay. So, and if you can't raise your blue hand, raise a yellow or whatever reaction. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're proceeding. We are proceeding. We're not taking a vote tonight because you haven't even read it. But Dorit, if you would like to join with Nancy and I on doing this, then we do need to vote to establish a quick ad hoc committee. Because
I'm interested in the more longer term things because I don't do things quickly.
Okay. So therefore, as long as it's just Nancy and I and working as officers of the executive committee, I see 2 hands up now. Are these questions or still raised for voting? I see Lizzie and Hugo. I don't know. Okay.
No, sorry. No, I need to remove it.
Okay. So we're proceeding and moving onward and upward, and we'll have a more thorough discussion at the executive committee, which will be Tuesday, June 15, and a good draft will be in the advance agenda packet. And Chris, you have your hand up again, because I think one of our issues is once we settle something, we probably have to move on and not raise another hand, but go ahead. Or not.
It's supposed to be lowered, sorry.
Okay. Okay, so can we run through these next items relatively quickly, please? I always say that. Item 12B out of executive committee, the city is a proposed liaison to the city's urban forestry division. The city's urban forestry division, in conjunction with the sidewalks repair programs and other initiatives, is proposing to remove mature trees within the UNNC footprint in an effort to facilitate better communications with the urban forestry division. Our environmental committee brought this up, sent it to executive, who's sending it to you, proposes creating a UNNC liaison position to that department and to appoint new board member Teresa Masonette to the position. She's not yet on the board, but she's about to be. So that is the motion from executive committee. It's on your agenda. I cannot retype it into the chat. We don't have chat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion? Shall we just vote? Greg, that's a BAC. So the BAC would be for item 12B, approve appointing a liaison to the city's urban forestry division and appoint Teresa Masonette to the position.
Yeah, I have them all typed up.
Okay, cool.
So we can.
I'm saying it for the Zoom.
Faster.
Greg, I'm saying for the Zoom recording though,
Okay.
sorry. So these are our minutes in effect. So Jasmine.
Yes.
Everybody unmute themselves. Jasmine.
Yes.
Dorit.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Tori, if she's here.
Absent.
Tori's not here, right?
Absent.
Okay. Laura, yes. Hugo.
Yes.
Paula.
Yes.
Raheem.
Sorry, yeah.
Marielle.
Yes.
Hugh.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
And Lizzie.
Yes.
Okay. Next item, 12C. This is a proposal to create a new UNNC Mobility and Transportation Committee, although the proposal, hi Taylor, is, I think, has morphed to subcommittee, but let me read the agenda item. There is an increased need for monitoring new transit initiatives, including but not limited to the proposed Crenshaw LAX light rail line northern extension, plus an increased need for UNNC to liaison between the city's various mobility related departments and with our stakeholders. Proposing new mobility and transportation subcommittee to the planning and zoning committee and appoint Taylor Fife as its chair. This is not a motion made by executive committee or anyone else. So we can have a discussion first, and I'll explain why I just said that, and then the motion. The reason we haven't had the discussion is executive sent it off to planning and zoning. John and I discussed, but then for various reasons, we had to cancel the planning and zoning committee meeting. So this comes forward to the board without the planning and zoning committee recommendation. But John, do you want to jump in here and explain why the chairs were going to put it on the committee until we had to cancel? Is John still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just remember we discussed it, but I can't remember all the details.
Well, the details are on the agenda. It's just the agenda item got canceled when our meeting got canceled. So, well, anyway, we've been dealing with, at planning and zoning, we've been dealing with multiple mobility and transportation and everything else topics for some time now, but it's especially coming to a head. And it does seem to John and I at some point and in discussion at committee, but not so specific to this, that we really needed someone to be following it. And so Taylor, who's in front of us, is another incoming board member, and this is his passion. Maybe you can explain. Take 1 minute, Taylor, and you're muted.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Taylor. I have a strong interest in transportation and mobility. I think it's really important to equity, social justice, sustainability, safety, all those good things, the economy. So a few things that I'd be excited about doing on the committee would be having a forum for us to understand the needs of our community, having a way for elected officials and transit agencies in the region to come and talk to us and to give us updates and to talk to members of the community, and then for us to advocate on behalf of our community. Probably the main way would be by writing motions of support for proposals on the table that LADOT and Metro have. So that's something that I'd be happy to take on and work with y'all on doing.
Right, and the reason, a bureaucratic reason for at the moment calling it a subcommittee of planning and zoning is just to give Taylor a little more freedom to not have to immediately jump in and figure out a standing meeting when we're having hybrid or not hybrid. Maybe we're meeting in person, maybe meeting on Zoom, maybe he doesn't have committee members. So as a subcommittee to a standing committee, there's just a little more flexibility at this point. So that would be the motion to approve this, but I'm just saying this is not, the way UNNC handles a lot of things is if a committee has voted on something, then that is the motion, but we haven't. So any comments, questions?
This is Dorit. I'd like to make the motion that we make this subcommittee of the, sorry, I'd like to just support this motion that's written here in the way that it is written.
You're making this motion that's on the agenda.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Second.
And Hugh seconds. So Dorit moved, Hugh seconds the motion that is in print on the agenda item 12C. Any other comments? This is a BAC. For those who are new, that means board action certification form. Board action certification form. So Greg, you're ready?
I am.
Okay. Every board members, please unmute yourself. Jasmine.
Yes.
Dorit.
Yes.
John. Is that a yes?
That's
Okay.
the one, sorry, it was a yep.
Yep. Okay. Laura, yes. Hugo,
Yes.
Paula, is Paula still here, you guys? Uh-oh.
Looks like she's gone.
Yeah, sure does. So we're at, okay, we're gonna run through this vote, but if we don't hit 13, we have to end the meeting. I'm sorry. Raheem,
Yep.
Marielle,
Yes.
Hugh,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
and Lizzie.
Yes.
Is that 13 people?
That's 13.
Okay, gonna have to move real fast. Eesh. So Nancy, you're back up. The next two items are you. Possible rescheduling of the board meeting for this very reason, and the UNNC governing board retreat in July.
Okay.
And let me just say, please, everybody, don't leave. We have to, right after that, approve the monthly expenditure report. And then we can do committee reports and the president's report, just in case we are about to lose quorum. Okay, Nancy.
Laura, do you want to go over why we want to reschedule the meeting?
Yes, I'm happy to. In part, it's just what we're experiencing right now. I have several concerns, and Tori is back. We're not going to lose quorum right away. July 1 is technically our next board meeting. It's the first Thursday in July, and it is right before what I am concerned will be the first huge, everybody goes away, 4-day weekend, after COVID. And I've already heard from a couple of board members that they will not be here. So I know we have to vote on a certain number of things, including this back and forth between Greg and I, but the administrative packet no later than July 1, but ideally before July 1. So I was looking at the calendar and thinking, and this is broad brushstrokes, Nancy, you got the doodle results, that if we did schedule another meeting on, the last Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday of June, and particularly the last Tuesday or Wednesday, those are fifth Tuesday, fifth Wednesday of the month, we're more likely to achieve quorum. We're certainly able to vote on anything administrative. We'll be able to do a little send off for our departing board members, and we won't have the issue of new board members who can't participate because they haven't yet been able to take the training for whatever reason. So that was my thought. There's a couple other thoughts that run into all of that, but in the past, what UNNC has also done because it's not the first time the July board meeting is right before July 4th weekend. In the past, we've just deferred the July meeting till later in July, but we won't then have any money to spend because we won't have the full administrative packet and the inventory and everything approved. So that's my thoughts. But Nancy, only you know the results of the poll. Meaning, do we have quorum on any other? Yeah, do we have quorum any other nights? That's another issue.
Yes. So before we get there, I think that another reason that we want to move the meeting is because of the officer elections.
Yeah.
Right. They wouldn't be able to vote. We have to, per
Right.
our bylaws, we have to vote for officers on the first meeting of the year. And the new members probably may not have completed their training to enable them to vote for officers.
Right. So that does seem awfully unfair. So that, that's another important factor. I mean, I'd really rather have our incoming board members who officially, I'm sorry, I'm very tired too. In the past, we had a board meeting where the old board members start the meeting and then the new board members are installed and it's a handoff. The Department of Neighborhood Empowerment decided this year not to do that. Officially, the people who are leaving the board, they are board members till the 30th of June. And then they're done, they're gone, they're over. And on July 1, through the entire city, not just UNNC, July 1, every board in the NC system, the new board members take their seats. And so, you know, it's just this weird new thing. So I just thought it'd be nice to have a send off to the old board members. And then in July, have that retreat. If this works out, the retreat's also a board meeting. So we have the retreat and the new boards there, and they've had now a couple more weeks to be trained. And we have as business also the election, and they can fully participate, which to me is really important. But it does depend on if we can get quorum at any of these alternative meeting choices. And Michael has his hand up, but Michael, can we let Nancy give us the report on?
Just a quick question.
Sure.
When you describe retreat, this is new to me. What's meant by that, and what does it entail?
Well, can we discuss that for the next item? Because that, right, that's the next.
Sure. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. No. So just on the results. So not enough people filled out the doodle to figure out whether it's whether we'll reach quorum. But the dates that seem to work for people are June 30th at 7, June 29th at 7.
Okay.
But that's only, I think, 8 people. All
right.
For June 30th at 7, and then 7 people for June 29th at 7.
Okay. So
I think there's a couple of people here that did not fill out the doodle. So I don't know if they want to say which date works for them.
What day of the week are they, Nancy?
It would be Tuesday or Wednesday at 7.
Right. It's the again, if you look at a calendar, it's the 5th Tuesday and the 5th. The point why I'm saying 5th is because nobody will be at a standing meeting of any entity on those 2 nights, because nobody has standing meetings on the 5th week, you know, because there's not always fifths. But Dorit has her hand up. Michael has his hand up. I was just going to say, if we don't know if we have quorum, Nancy, what I can do, I mean, what we could do tonight is vote to change the meeting date if we have quorum for either of those 2 days, and authorize the president to send an email to find out if we even have quorum on the 1st. I mean, that's my bigger issue. If we don't have quorum on the 29th or 30th, we may not have it on the 1st either. We need to figure this out. Okay. Oh gosh.
Laura.
Yes.
Nancy's saying that the 29th or the 30th. I know I didn't fill it out because I didn't want to put another app on my phone, and that may be the reason why, or I just didn't want to do that. So I say the 29th, and then anybody else is on the phone that didn't vote, do 29th or 30th.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the other date for the meeting too. So long as it's not on a Wednesday evening, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I've got Dorit, Raheem, Chris, and somebody whose hand went up and down.
I'm just gonna say I will do it by phone on the 3rd. I work Wednesdays and I don't get off until 7:30. Sometimes if there's a crisis, I don't get off till 10. So I can promise you I'll be here on. I can promise you I'll be here the 29th, which is Tuesday, but I cannot promise I'll be here on a Wednesday.
Okay.
Right.
Dorit, but when you
okay. No, go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah, when Dorit, though, I have your vote though, and it says Wednesday for you.
Then I'm a dork because I don't do apps very well. So I'm sorry about that, but I can't. I could try to be here on a Wednesday. I will give it my best, but it would be by phone, and it would be after 7:30. So I am 100% apology if I did something wrong.
Okay. All right, Raheem, and then Chris.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, I'm not sure if I didn't read the instructions on the doodle correctly, but I thought it was just asking for a preference on the meeting. I definitely didn't mark like every single time that I was available. I'm not sure if other board members made that same mistake.
I did exactly the opposite, Raheem. I said, yes, 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 maybe. And then, so maybe.
Or your hand's not raised.
Ooh.
Can we just vote which day, 29th or 30th right now? Since we
Yeah,
have a
that's what I
quorum
want to
here?
do.
Yeah.
So
Thank
maybe
you.
Chris, if you could go next, and then I'll call on the
I can
people
do
that I don't have
either,
votes
and
for.
we'll do whatever the group needs. I can do either.
Okay, so I have 9 and 8. Okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
John Arnold, I didn't get your vote.
I can't make either of them.
You can't make either. Okay. Let me see.
Well, John, let me just ask, are you able to make the first if we had to move back to that?
I'm not around. I'm not. Not that being in town matters, but I'm out.
Okay.
Okay. Mariella?
Hi, yeah. Yes.
Does June 29th, 30th work for you?
You know what, Nancy? I hate to say it. I mean, at least if we're on Zoom, then maybe. With my daughter out of school and the fluidity of summer break and travel plans, I will do my best. But I'm sorry, I can't commit one way or the other.
But would that sentence be true for the first?
Yeah, for all of those dates, since it's Zoom, chances are likely I'll be able to set aside the time. Even if I'm not home, I'll at least be able to be here, but I can't stay with.
Right. The goal would be, guys, I know you're gonna laugh. The goal would be this would be a 1-hour meeting, max.
That'd be great. That'd be amazing. Then
No, you're gonna laugh. You're saying, oh yeah, right. You're gonna be able to achieve that. Ha. But the goal would be that it's really narrowly the things we have to vote on and a little celebration of the people who are like you, Marielle. You can't miss that fake Zoom champagne. The fake Zoom champagne. Just saying. Chris, did you mean to have your hand up again? Maybe not. Okay. Can I take away from this conversation that Nancy?
He has his hand up.
We're having some issues here technically. Hugh and Paula.
So if I understand what you're saying correct, Marielle is leaving office on June 30th.
Correct. So it wouldn't matter if she's out of town on the 1st. You are correct. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Do it the first.
Sorry.
That sounds great. Thanks, Hugh. Thanks, Hugh.
But
I'm just trying to create forum.
Yeah, I'm trying to create quorum too. Okay. Listen, this is just getting silly. Let me just call this roll real quick of the people here and let me hear from you. And so that would be Jasmine. Does it matter to you if it's Tuesday the 29th or Wednesday the 30th? Are you available for either or both?
No, she filled it out.
No, I know that, but the rest of us.
I can do either date.
Fine. And we know what Dorit is better on Tuesday than Wednesday. John is not available. Tori is better on Tuesday. If anyone's writing
My
this.
last day is the 30th too.
Is that, what did you say? Wednesday?
She said Wednesday.
Fine.
I said my last day is the 30th also.
Okay, good. I believe Paul emailed me, Paul King, saying he's also out of town that whole week. So, Hugo. Hugo.
Is this for the doodle that we got sent?
Forget the doodle.
Night?
Forget the doodle. Just want to know the answer right this second.
Hello?
Will you be available on Tuesday the 29th or Wednesday the 30th or both for an alternative night meeting?
I'm sorry, my connection just cut out when you explained it.
Are you available on June 29 and or June 30th for a meeting?
Yeah, it'd be available June 29th.
Okay. Paula,
June 29th.
Raheem,
Either.
okay. Hugh, I know I already asked you this, but I'm going down the roll.
Either.
Okay, Michael,
Well, I can't commit, but I would say more likely than not.
okay. And Chris,
She said either.
okay, Greg,
Either one would be fine with me.
okay, and Lizzie.
Either day.
And for me, it's either date, but it's beginning to sound like Tuesday. So did you get and obviously half the board is not here tonight, so I will send an email again, Nancy. So, but it's looking like it could be Tuesday. Okay. All right.
Do we need to make a motion?
Maybe we should. So I move that we reschedule our next governing board meeting to Tuesday, June 29.
A second.
I would say pending confirmation we have quorum. And that's the motion. Greg, do you think we need a BAC on that? Or are we just good to move what do you think?
We might as well just do a BAC just to.
All right.
I don't think we really need it, but.
I don't think we really need it either, but let's just do it. Sorry, you guys.
Well, at least it won't be redundant.
I know. Actually, it would be redundant, but I don't know that we have to do this, Greg.
Okay, let's not.
Okay, faster if not. Thank you. So Nancy, you want to have a quick yak about the potential board retreat? And this
Yes,
one we'll
so,
do by regular email as to dates, because we'd have to include the new people anyway as to their availability. So we don't need to set the date necessarily tonight.
Yes, so we're hoping to, we've talked about in the executive committee having a board retreat, welcoming the new board members. It's going to be a mix of, getting to know each other, as well as doing an overview of our standing rules, our bylaws, and then I think other training materials. So I don't know if the action item here, Laura, is to create an ad hoc committee. If anyone wants to help me with the agenda, with coming up with activities. We're trying to make it as fun as possible, given that it's going to be on Zoom. So if anyone wants to help me, then we can go ahead and vote to create an ad hoc committee. If not, then I'm hoping to present the agenda, I guess, at the next executive board meeting.
Okay, Raheem?
Yeah, I'll help you, Nancy.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody else? Okay, so
I'll help. This is Paula.
Paula, okay, so what we do need to do, and it will need to be a BAC, Greg, is establish, I move to establish an ad hoc committee of the board to plan a board retreat in July. And the initial appointees are Raheem, Paula, and Nancy, and to be supplemented if needed by executive officers, executive committee members.
Question.
Well, now we need a second before anybody can do anything. So is there a second?
Nancy second.
Okay, Nancy second. Now, Michael, up to you. Now you can ask your question.
Please define retreat for me.
Okay, Saturday morning rather than a Monday or Thursday or whatever evening. Basically, a retreat's a little more participatory. There are agenda items, but it's more, as Nancy had said, sort of getting to know you and team building, as well as learning about UNNC and learning about neighborhood councils. What we normally do is, you know, we have a handbook. We haven't done that since COVID, obviously. Last retreat we had was October 2019. So we spent the morning together. John and I often do a planning 101 piece of it. Maybe we will, maybe we won't this time. But, you know, that's the reason why, well, there'll be a planning committee, but it's a couple of hours. And the last, you know, the last piece of it is actually convening a board meeting itself with quorum. And in this case, just because of timing, will be whatever other business we need to take care of. We'll have to approve the June monthly expenditure report, for example, and we need to elect the new officers for the next year. The president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and signatory.
So follow up, what's the venue for this retreat?
We don't know if it's in person or on Zoom yet. The city hasn't decided, hasn't let us know. Dunn is sort of saying that everything has to still stay on Zoom, but the Brown Act, which is the law of the land, is the emergency orders expire on June 15th. So once you're back in Brown Act, unless the legislature changes the law, we're meeting in person. So that's, we don't know. We just don't know. So we'll be working toward both directions because we don't have the answer yet.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so it's been moved, and did it get seconded? Yes, Nancy seconded that we establish an ad hoc committee. It's Rahim, Paula, Nancy, to be supplemented if needed by other executive board members. No further discussion? Tori?
Yeah. So that'll be for the
to plan the retreat.
For the new board.
For the new board. So you old board members can go ahead and vote for it, knowing you don't have to attend. Just saying. But please don't abstain for that reason, because then the motion won't pass. So it's a motion to approve an ad hoc committee. Can we just do a BAC and be done with this? Everybody on mute, please. And I'm sorry, I always do it from the top down on this roll call because it's just easier. Jasmine?
Yes.
Dorit?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tori?
Yes.
Laura is a yes. Hugo?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Rahim?
Yeah.
Marielle?
Yes.
Hugh?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes, I'm
Greg?
on a Wi-Fi hotspot from the mountains and I'm probably about to lose my juice, guys.
Okay, well, we're almost done anyway. Greg?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And Lizzie?
Yes.
Okay. Given what Chris just said, I'm flipping, as I had already warned us, flipping to treasurer's report, and I know I'm skipping committee updates for the moment. Greg, we need to approve the monthly expenditure report.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the monthly expenditure report for April. This is what we started off with, $39,000. We spent in April $8,327. We had some ups, things that hadn't cleared yet, $5,581. And of course, this is a broad overview. Then there's just the different categories of how we spent money for office outreach, election, which we call Lizzie mentioned that in her report, community improvement projects, 0, neighborhood purpose grants. We spent, again, as we said earlier, we spent a lot of our money in that area this year. And this is the details of what we spent in the month of April. Are there any questions? If not, I make a motion that we approve the April monthly expenditure report.
I'm gonna second it, Dorit.
Okay.
Okay, so let's gonna do the BAC. This is item 14A. And board members, unmute yourself, please. Jasmine,
Yes.
Dorit,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Tori.
And she's ineligible.
Oh,
sorry.
I am?
Yes.
Okay, Laura, yes. Hugo? Hugo?
Yes.
Okay, Paula,
Yes.
Raheem,
Yep.
Marielle,
Yes.
Hugh,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Is
Ineligible.
ineligible, but you're still here, thank you. Greg,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Lizzie.
Yes.
It's 13, it passed.
Okay. And do we don't, Greg, we don't have any further budget updates, reimbursement?
We have the reimbursement, but we can just do that next year.
Yeah, well, I know it's unfortunate, but that's what she said. We had to vote next year.
Mhm.
Sorry, sucks.
Mhm.
Sucks, but
Well,
anyway.
I have a question.
Yes.
I needed to do a class, Greg, did it just
Yeah,
expire?
it
or
was
something?
due, yeah, it was due in March, excuse me, in May.
Oh, yeah, and then they said since I was going off the board, I didn't have to do it, but if I'm gonna stay the homeless liaison, do I need to do it?
No.
I can.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay.
Okay, so you guys, we have committee updates and that darn president's report that gets tabled every month, but this time it has some items on it. So do we have any committee reports? And we're so close to ending around the time we have been on the agenda. But anyway, Raheem.
Hello, sorry. Just a quick report from the Communications Committee. So we have been working on creating a brand survey for the board. We have that pretty much ready to go. The brand survey is just a series of 10 questions that we'll just kind of gauge board members' feelings and opinions on UNNC board, what we should be doing, what we have historically done, kind of how things personally are important to you and kind of ranking those things. So we're going to send out the survey hopefully sometime tomorrow, and the survey window will be open for probably until the middle of next week. Not super encouraged by what sounds like very low respondents to Nancy's doodle survey, but we will hound everyone on the email chain for responses, because this is something very important that will kind of define the vision for the UNNC brand until we do this again at some point in the future. So be on the lookout for that. Any questions, feel free to reach out to Gabby or myself, and looking forward to hearing back from all you guys. Thank you.
Okay, can I ask a question, Raheem? Where'd you go? There you are.
I'm here.
So we could do this and then have a discussion about it and loop in the new board members at the retreat that you.
Yeah, so I mean, Lizzie requested permission from the elected board members to share their email with me, so I can actually include them on the survey.
Okay.
Which I'm excited about. So we'll include everybody. It's cool because we get to include current board members and then the board members who will be coming on in a few weeks. So kind of be a nice cross section of individuals.
Right, but at the retreat that you're planning, and not me, but having said that, it'd be very cool to have sort of a breakout session about the results of it. And
yeah, we're planning on presenting the results as soon as we can, maybe even at that end of the month, June board member, June meeting. So
okay,
yeah.
Cool. That'd be even better, faster.
Yeah.
Dorit.
So the Rec and Parks Committee, we've got a lot of members who are very active with the South Seas House and the parks around there, but we need more committee members and just community members who are active in Jefferson Park, so we can give some love to the Shaw Park. So if anyone here wants to join this committee so you can give some love and give some input for Shaw Park, please do so, and please get the word out to your other stakeholders, so we can to join the committee so we can make that park the best that it can be. Thank you so much.
Can I say one thing, Dorit? I don't know if it makes a difference, but I've had people kind of tangentially talk to me about Normandy Park, and even though it's not in our catchment area, it's right on the other side of Normandy from Harvard Heights, and everyone in our community uses that park. Is there a way to lump that into your committee, or is that just?
Yes,
it
yes,
is?
because it serves, that's a park I go to. It serves our footprint, but one thing at a time. I can't, I'm a really crappy juggler, so one park at a time. So let's do Shaw Park first, and then we could do Normandy. And even though you're not gonna be on the board anymore, maybe you can help out a little bit. Or at least
Not being on the board, I will happily, and I'll be happy to wait.
Beautiful. So that's our next step, but first we're gonna do Shaw Park, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Dorit,
yes.
I don't live on that side of the park and I don't really use it. And I don't know if John does or Nancy, but I would be more than willing to maybe post and ask for the families, the parents who do use that park, if they would like to join the committee. Is that okay?
I would be
ask,
so, yes, thank you so much. If you could do that, send them my way, my UNNC email address. I'd be very, very grateful for any help that you can get us by getting the word out, because you've got a good name in the community and people will listen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
will do that. Thanks.
Okay, Hugo. Hugo?
I just wanted to say that I agree with what Mario was saying about Normandy Park, that it would be good to discuss that at some point in the future, because that's one of the parks that I grew up going to, as well as the park in front of LA High, but that one is way farther.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Are there any other committee reports?
I'll go real brief, but just an update. We had our homelessness liaison meeting last Thursday, and Dorit was our wonderful speaker, and we enjoyed it immensely. And hopefully everyone learned something. Also today, I had a chance to go by, well, I've been 3 times now, lady on Washington and Gramercy. And so I was able to get her, hopefully an outreach worker assigned today. So we'll see what happens, because she wasn't there when I was there today, but they said they were going to send out somebody later today or tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. She moved from one side to the other, and this side is much neater than the other side. So making tiny steps of progress.
Okay, thank you. Any other?
Yes, so now that the elections is almost over, I will resume our outreach meetings pretty soon. So if anyone has ideas on how to do outreach with very little money and in a creative way, please, send us your suggestions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, I see no other hands. So I'm taking that as a moving to the last thing, which is President's report, and it's just 2 updates. Well, 3, something that's not on the agenda. So I'll start with the one that's not on the agenda. Just very quickly, we received, and I'm named as the agent for service and representative. a complaint was filed with the state State Department of Fair Employment and Housing Enforcement Division against us by one of the people who ran for Council District 10, but who was not, had not qualified to run, hadn't had enough signatures or something, I don't know. Anyway, was not on the dais for the candidates forum back in January 2020. And he's filed a complaint, maybe against everybody, but certainly against us. So I have sent it off to our city attorney. I mean, I don't know what the ramifications of this is, but I scanned and sent it. So, and Rahim, I did send you some questions. You don't have to answer them here, but I think you're the person, or Nancy is, who might have to give me information to give to the city attorney about this. So what's on the agenda? What?
So wait a minute. So you saying an individual filed a complaint for not being on the ballot in 2020?
No, remember we and all the neighborhood councils and CD10 did a candidates forum and other organizations, and he was not included in the group of candidates on the dais.
Oh, at the church, at Fame.
Tori, I don't have a lot of information. I'm the respondent on a. Go ahead, Rahim.
And just so this guy, he didn't file to be a candidate, and there's even like an official way to file to be a write-in candidate. He didn't even do that. So without doing any of that, he still wanted to be part of the candidates forum. And so there was just a decision made that he wouldn't be. And
yeah, I'm just saying this is serious. I mean, this has been elevated to a serious level. I have forwarded it to the city attorney, and I will report more at the next meeting when I know more. But I just wanted you all to know. That was in our mail today. Okay, President's report. The Gramercy Apartments senior affordable units on Washington between Wilton and Gramercy Place, Hollywood Community Housing will start moving a few people in this month, and then it's just sort of because of COVID, it's going to be a couple here, a couple there, and they're in the process of myself, and the council office meeting about the transit issues that we had voted on. The idea of doing, unrelated to the transit issues, the idea of doing a more official grand opening celebration in August and in person came up. And the idea of being to celebrate the one of the first completions of an HHH project. So I do want to just say that there will be something, we're not paying for it, but part of that is the creation before that for the people who are moving in, sort of welcome home totes or baskets, welcome baskets. And what we've been asked to do, or I volunteered us to do, either way, is to put our magnets that have all the city services, in other words, we have a little bit of tchotchkiness. We have magnets, we'll have like some piece of paper that says about UNNC, and the firehouse will have flyers about their meals. I mean, in other words, we're just doing a welcome home basket that we're putting together, and Lizzie and I had been talking about it. We UNNC do not have at this point much in the way of outreach inventory, and that's our other issue but our inventory at the firehouse was basically thrown away, whatever might have been there, which I don't know. So including furniture and the file cabinet and some other stuff. So I'm trying to track down what we do have, what we don't have in this year and a half of COVID for other reasons, not thrown away. Our tent has ceased, is torn, it won't work. We're going to need new tablecloths. I mean, in other words, we're going to have to replace a lot of our stuff. And then that relates as well to the UNNC meetings. I've already alluded to this. We don't know if we're going to be able to meet in person or on Zoom, or some mix of it, maybe have the governing board meetings in person, but the committee meetings on Zoom, which would enable us to continue to have as many committee meetings as we currently have. So I'm hoping we can do that. But some of you may hope not to do that and have meetings in person. So this is an ongoing discussion at the city level, and I have put it on the agenda thinking I'd have more of an answer than I do now. Okay, are there any questions, comments? There's no real action contemplated. I just put that in case somebody wanted an action. I'm thinking we want to go home. That's the action. Is that right? Yeah. Right. So, Lizzie, did you have any?
Laura, we're at home already.
Huh?
We're already at home.
Well, there's that. I'm not, however.
Yeah. Yes, that is true.
But I guess you're right. I hadn't even thought about that. But go other home. Go home to the other rooms. Oh, okay. So, but anyway,
so
Lizzie, are you cool with what I just reported? And Dorit, are you cool with what I just reported about the Gramercy?
About going home, yes.
That too. I meant about the Gramercy opening.
Yeah, just as I said before, if our name's on something, we just need to know about it before it happens. So
Right.
all is kosher.
Okay. Well, it's down the road 2 months. So if our name is really on it, long before our name is really on it, we will have an actual action item here at the board. But I don't know what
Laura,
the
I have to drop.
Okay. No, I know we have to go. Anything else? Greg? Or is that a goodbye? You're
That's a
muted,
goodbye.
Greg.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. Love you.
And
Bye.
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 Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting now, you guys.